Good morning, everyone. Councilmember Tupola, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Councilmember Tupola, would you like to introduce your guest giving the message of Aloha?
Aloha, Chair and members of the community. It's my honor this morning to introduce someone who truly embodies the spirit of West Oahu. Mikiala Lidstone, born in Nanakuli, raised in Kailua, Mikiala's foundation has always been rooted in place. As she says in her own words, the power within your place is all the history and the significant events and people that really contributed to the abundance of this place and how it has thrived over the years. Because our place is very much a part of who we are. When we know how special our place is, we in turn say, wow, we are special as well. She now lives in Kapolei and has dedicated her life to strengthening our communities through education, culture, and connection. In 2014, she founded Ulua'e Learning Center, whose mission is to empower and enrich lives through culture and place-based programs. These programs build confidence, strengthen relationships, and are grounded in Native Hawaiian values. The seeds of Ulua'e were planted years earlier when Mikiala was teaching at Kapolei High School and leading hula with Halau o Ka'ululawa'e. Parents and community leaders encouraged her to grow those efforts, and today her reach spans across Honolulu and throughout West Oahu. Mikiala is also a leader outside the classroom. She has guided important conversations about how we care for Kapolei Regional Park, reminding us that the name Kapolei is more than just a growing city. It's a wahipana, a sacred place, home to an original heiau that deserves our respect and stewardship. She served on the Kapolei and Makakila neighborhood board since 2021 and brings both experience and Native Hawaiian perspective that greatly adds value to the work that she does. Her leadership has always been centered in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mikiala Lidstone.
Mahalo. Aloha. Honolulu City Council members, staff, and community. Aloha nui kākou. I come before you with deep respect for the kuleana you hold in guiding the future of our city. Mahalo. You know, I grew up in Kailua, and I moved to Kapolei in 2004 when I began teaching at Kapolei High School. You know, for me, moving to Kapolei was not easy. It was a young, growing community, very different from the long-established community I come from. Like all growing communities, Kapolei faced challenges then, and it still does today. Yet, in the midst of change, I found something deeply grounding, a place that connected me to the heart of the community. That place is Pu'uo Kapolei, a sacred site that carries the story and spirit of the region. In fact, it's from this hill, Pu'uo Kapolei, that the entire city of Kapolei gets its name. Once I learned of its history, I became a steward of this wahipana right away. Today, I continue to serve as one of its caretakers through the city's Adopt a Park program. Through this kuleana, I've seen firsthand both the challenges and the opportunities that come with maintaining our public green spaces. The challenges are real. Resources are limited and upkeep is constant. But I've witnessed the creativity and commitment of devoted volunteers who step up every day with heart and innovative solutions. Community organizations, families, and individuals, people who may not have much to give, yet share their time, their personal resources, and their aloha to care for these places. These acts are not just acts of maintenance, they are acts of aloha. They show us the deep pilina, the deep relationship between people and place. What truly grounds me in this work is Pu'uo Kapolei's deep significance. It's not just any other public green space. It's a sacred, cultural, historic site. In fact, Pu'uo Kapolei was the very first site in Hawaii to be listed on the State Historic Registry as a traditional cultural property. And over the years, I've learned that many of our cultural historic sites are located on city property, most within our parks. I've also learned that the city does not have a full inventory of these special places. And I often wonder, what would it look like if we did? What would it mean for our communities, for our caretakers of place, and for future generations? Because one thing we know is that when it comes to caring for our special places, our communities step up. I greeted you today with aloha, and as we know, aloha is not just a greeting, it's an action. It's a kuleana. It's the love we give to one another and the love we give to the land that sustains us. You are never alone in the work that you do. The community stands ready to share this kuleana and to ensure that this city, this place, and all our places are cared for and cherished for generations to come. Mahalo for all you do, and aloha.
Thank you so much. Members have procedural announcements to make before we begin. Although remote oral testimony is being permitted, this is a regular meeting and not a remote meeting by interactive conference technology under HRS Section 92-3.7. Therefore, the meeting will continue notwithstanding the loss of audiovisual communication with remote testifiers or loss of the public broadcasting of the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda, either in person in the council chamber or remotely. As both English and Hawaiian are official languages of the state of Hawaii, pursuant to Article 15, Section 4 of the Hawaii State Constitution and Section 1-13 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes, members of the public may testify in either language. For oral testimonies offered in Olelo, Hawaii, additional time as may be necessary will be allowed for the testifier to provide an English translation of their testimony. Before testifying, each person shall state their full name and the agenda item they are testifying on. Each speaker may not have anyone else read their testimony and is limited to a 3-minute presentation on public hearing and new business items, and a 1-minute presentation on all other items. Registered in-person testifiers will be called first. When your name is called, please proceed to the podium and begin by stating your name and the item you'll be speaking on. When I call for anyone who has not registered to speak in person, please line up to the right of the podium, and when it is your turn, proceed to the podium. Begin by stating your name and the items you'll be speaking on. All persons who have registered to testify remotely by video conference or phone will then be called. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. When I call for anyone else standing by remotely, please utilize the Zoom raise hand button to indicate your desire to speak. For those joining us by telephone only, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. The following are some friendly reminders and tips. Video conference from a quiet location if possible. If you are also watching the proceeding on Olelo, please mute your television when you are called to testify. When the timer on the screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks promptly. For those who are joining us by telephone only, I will identify you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, press *6 to unmute yourself when prompted. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public as described on the posted agenda. As a courtesy, please turn off all cell phones during the duration of the meeting. The following items were not posted on the agenda for consideration. On page 17, we have a hand-carried proposed FD1 amendment to Resolution 25-204 CD1 relating to the transfer of funds. On page 25, we have a hand-carried proposed FD1 amendment to Resolution 25-224 relating to the reappointment of Cynthia L. McMillan to serve on the Rate Commission of the City and County of Honolulu. Copies are available at the City Clerk's office downstairs in room 203. Members, if there are no objections, we will be taking Resolution 25-244 on page 25, and Resolution 25-218 on page 26, after report of the permitted interaction group established by Resolution 25-56 CD1 on page 4. Those are two appointment resolutions. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Cordero, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Here.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Here.
Councilmember Nishimoto. Councilmember Okimoto.
Present.
Councilmember Talba. Councilmember Tupola.
Ao.
Councilmember Wire.
Here.
Chair Waters.
Here.
Mr. Chair, 9 members are present.
Thank you. Floor Leader Kia Aina, any guests' introductions?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to welcome the following members of the Cabinet and other guests: Kevin Auger, Director-Designate of the Department of Housing and Land Management; Loy Yoninaka, Executive Secretary for the Neighborhood Board Commission; Don Takeuchi Apuna, Director of the Department of Planning and Permitting; Kehaulani Pu'u, Deputy Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation; Mahilani Cipher, Commissioner for the Oahu Historic Preservation Commission; Cynthia McMillan, Commissioner for the Honolulu Rate Commission; Lori Kahikina, CEO for HART; nominees for other various boards and commissions, and of course, community members and stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Tupola, motion to approve the minutes.
I move that the minutes of the 12th session be approved.
Floor
Second.
Leader, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. Any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, the minutes have been approved. Moving to page 4, order of the day. The first item on the agenda today is the report of the permitted interaction group established by Resolution 25-56 CD1. Vice Chair Tupola.
Pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute Section 92-2.5B1 and Resolution 25-56 CD1 adopted by the Council on March 19, 2025, Councilmembers Cordero, Dos Santos Tam, and Nishimoto were authorized to investigate matters related to the potential use of tax increment financing for the City and County of Honolulu. The Permitted Interaction Group report, designated a Council Communication 221, is presented today. However, pursuant to HRS Section 92-2.5B1, the Council may not act on the Permitted Interaction Group report until the next scheduled Council meeting. The Office of Council Services has advised us that pursuant to an interpretation from OIP, this section of the HRS requires that deliberation, including any discussion and decision-making by the Council on the Permitted Interaction Group's findings and recommendations, take place only at the next duly posted Council meeting on October 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Council Communication 221 has been presented to the Council. Thank you. Members, now go to page 25. Page 25. Resolution 25-224. Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. I move that Committee Report 285 and Resolution 25-224 be adopted. This relates to the reappointment of Cynthia L. McMillan to serve on the Rate Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you for the explanation. Is there a motion to amend? Councilmember Cordero.
I further move that Resolution 25-224 be amended to the hand-carried FD1 identified as OCS 2025-0699/9/2/2025 at 1:07 p.m.
Second?
Second.
Thank you so much. It's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Councilmember Cordero, for the explanation. Is Ms. McMillan here? Oh, there she is. Aloha, welcome. Thank you for being here. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Chair Waters. I appreciate the opportunity to serve if reappointed. It's been a learning experience this past year, and I look forward to more input from residents who ride transit. I'd also like to thank Chair Cordero and the committee for the great questions they asked and the discussion that we had during the committee session, and I look forward to continuing the work together.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you again. Appreciate you being here today. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations to the motion to amend? Noting no objections or reservations, Resolution 25-224 has been amended to the hand-carried FD1. Any objections or reservations to waiving Council Rule 19G, the 48-hour rule? Noting no objections, the 48-hour rule has been waived. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting none. CR 285 and Resolution 25-224 FD1 has been adopted. Members, turning to page 26, the next page, from the Committee on International and Legal Affairs, Councilmember Nishimoto.
I move that Committee Report 287 and Resolution 25-218 be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Nishimoto for the explanation.
This is relating to the appointment of Larry Vere to serve on the Neighborhood Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
Councilmember Tupolo for the second.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Nishimoto. Wait, we did the explanation. Sorry. Mr. Vere, aloha, welcome. Would you like to say a few words?
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Tupolo, and council members. First of all, I want to thank you all for putting your trust and confidence in me. My commitment to you and also to all of our neighborhood boards is to help lead and help continue to improve our policies with the Neighborhood Commission and work very closely with the Neighborhood Commission office, but importantly work with all our neighborhood boards to help them be cohesive and be very productive to their communities. But I want to thank you all.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Mr. Vere? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to thank Mr. Vere for being here. He has been such a pillar in our community, and I'm thankful for his unwavering support and his high energy. It's really unparalleled, the type of dedication and service that he provides to not just me and my office, but also our community. So thank you for this, putting him forward as our nominee, and we look forward to continuing to serve with you. Thank you, Larry, for being here.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none. Any objections or reservations? Noting none. CR 287 and Resolution 25-218 has been adopted. Members, now going back to page 5. Page 5. Resolution 25-206 confirming the nomination of Kevin Auger to serve as the Director of Housing and Land Management of the City and County of Honolulu. I know that Mr. Auger is here. Welcome. Would you like to say a few words?
Aloha and good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair DePolar, and our honorable council members. I just want to say that I am honored and humbled to potentially serve as the Director of Department of Housing and Land Management. It's the newest department in the city. Obviously, housing is a priority for the administration and our city. And I'd just be honored to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you. Hi, Director-Designate Auger. I am curious about your communication strategy as it relates to connecting the city administration and its priorities with the city councils.
Sure, I think working with council is the highest priority for not only our department, but for the administration. With housing being as important as it is, working closely together with council members and your staffs is a paramount priority for us. No question about that.
Okay, thank you. Just as for myself only, my experience is, first off, I keep finding out things from DHLM in the news. And I know that my district is a hotbed for whether it be development. I used to also have Ivalei. And so a lot of the things that have been moving along has been kind of siloed through the city administration. And it is frustrating, it was frustrating in my first term, and I tried to give leeway to DLM back then and now DHLM currently, and had hesitation in supporting the expansion of DHLM taking on housing. And so with that, there are other ways that I think that we can make the communication relationship better, but it spans especially within DHLM. And so I'm hoping that you will consider looking internally as well as at your administrative level to ensure that that is bettered.
Thank you for those comments, not only considering it, but making it a priority. I mean, obviously, we're a brand new department. As of May 1st, we've had a lot on our plate. We're learning as we go. I'm learning as we go. And understanding the needs of each of the council members and the needs of your districts is a top priority for us. I can't state that any more clear.
Okay, thank you. I do know that you do have policy within the Department of Housing and Land Management. Of course, here before you as legislators, we also, our core point of our job is also policymaking. And so when the city council comes up with policies, we are often met with immediate, not just hesitation or looking for a working relationship on the matter, but an immediate no sometimes. And a lot of the time it comes before us, right here in this type of a relationship, testifying before the council. And I think that I do want to make a point that you need to find a better way to plan to just better that relationship with all council members. You may have it with some of the council members, but not all. So I just wanted to note that.
I appreciate those comments, Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. Aloha, Director Designee, thank you for being here. I would echo some of the same comments from my colleague. I do think my main concern is we've given you some time knowing that the department is new, kind of wanting to see how you were going to lay some groundwork and as well how you were going to communicate to us what the new plan or direction would be. So coming into the committee, which is where we'll discuss more about your nomination, what are the main 3 things you're going to present to the committee so that we can understand the direction of DHLM?
Oh, thanks very much for that, Vice Chair Tupola. The 3 things, if I had to say 3, we'd want to talk about the platform that we recently established under the Mayor's authority on May 1st to basically put together a new platform to pursue housing development. We'd love to have an opportunity to follow up on all the great work that we've been doing over the last year, consistent with our strategic plan, and would love to talk to you about what we need to do going forward and how we can address the housing crisis on Oahu. Those 3 things are a top priority for us.
Sorry, the 3 things were the platform?
Platform, where we're at currently with that, our strategic plan, where we are in terms of the plan, and what we're going to be looking at going forward.
And the strategic plan you're referring to is the one that came out right when you came in?
That's correct, in January of this year.
And that plan, which I've read extensively, doesn't necessarily give us like the exact steps within the next 3 years that we'll be accomplishing. So I hope it'll be a little bit more pointed. I mean, the plan that was given to us was definitely done by a third party, and it's 78 pages, and it has a lot of, background information. We really just want to know, like, within the one, budget fiscal cycle, what are we doing next budget fiscal cycle? The city moves in waves of, an annual budget. So we want to make sure that we can make small steps of progress every year.
I appreciate that, Councilmember. And just to clarify, the strategic elements of that plan were put together by me and my staff. So we did that together. There was data that was provided by a third-party source, but the strategic elements of that plan were put together by the department.
Yeah, I agree or appreciate you bringing up that clarification. My main concern is that as I read through the plan, there are portions of the plan in my district that I had never been talked to about. And so I think that that's where the missing links are. If we're going to suggest that there's housing in particular council members' district, that should be a collaborative plan with us and with the community, and not something that we read in a strategic plan that we never gave any input for. So I'm hoping there can be a little bit more leeway in us allowing to work with you guys on a housing plan, as opposed to reading something that I've asked multiple times for us to take off certain projects and add in ones the community wants. So looking forward to those amendments.
Thank you very much for those comments, Councilman.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions of the nominee? Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, good morning, Director Designate. I will echo some of the sentiments that have been shared already, and I think some of the questions, I know it was prior to you, some of the questions that we had coming into, I'm so sorry, coming into our hearings as soon as I got into this position was, what kind of plan do you have? And I still feel like, I hear you saying that you're new, but at what point are you not new? Because I feel like that's been something that we haven't been provided as a council. And I will say, that's just, I want to preface it with that, but moving forward, you presented the council with a plan earlier this year, and it's been talked about, and that has a 3-year housing plan projection. This included land within my district, and that's something that I think I share the same sentiments. It seems like there's things that are happening in our districts that we know nothing about. And I have asked you in our meetings to, and I also encourage you to reach out to the council members. It sounds like that still hasn't been happening, but that land in my district was never intended to be used for housing. So if confirmed, will the council be presented with a 10 to 20-year blueprint or plan that outlines how the administration will dramatically accelerate housing supply while also lowering the cost of building affordable housing?
Yeah, so I guess a couple of things. First of all, I accept full responsibility that I'm not new any longer. This has been a baptism by fire, and I accept full responsibility for where we've been, where we're come, and where we're going. As I've mentioned to Councilmember Tupola and Councilmember Cordero, working and communicating and collaborating with council members and their staffs is a top priority for us. As we've gotten more fully staffed, we now have more capacity to do that. I have capacity to do that. We've just hired our Director of Housing Policy. He'll be reaching and has been reaching out to council members. We asked to provide the Housing Committee with an update on our activities from January through July. We haven't been afforded an opportunity to do that yet, and we certainly look forward to doing that. And I'm happy to work with you and discuss with you housing plans for your area and your district. Haven't gotten to the 20-year plan yet. Got a lot on our plate for this year and next, but certainly look forward to doing that as well.
Thank you. I do look forward to that. I think a lot of my questions were along the same lines of what is the strategy, what is the vision, what is, because I feel like we've been presented different things, and over the past 3 years, I don't feel like we've been presented with a concrete plan that has inspired us or given us the confidence that I feel like we need.
Boy, we'd really love to share with you what we've done over the last 6 months. It's just been nothing short of extraordinary. The staff has been incredible. Everybody is working extremely hard, and we'd be delighted to share out what we're working on.
Okay. Is part of the plan, and is the administration's current plan to identify city-owned properties?
Yeah, well, we've already done that. As part of the strategic plan that we presented in January, we identified 10 sites potentially that could accommodate anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 units of housing. We worked with the governor's office to allow the city for the first time to issue a request for qualifications, seeking development partners for those land sites. We've issued, I think we're on our 9th, actually 7th of the RFQs. We intend to deliver all 10 before the end of the year as promised. And that pipeline will create, those developments will create a pipeline of 2,500 to 3,000 units of new housing. And that's just unprecedented for the city. So we really look forward to sharing that out with you.
Okay, thank you. And I believe and it's been a while since we had our 101 meeting, but in that meeting we did talk about the financial aspect. How does the administration plan to fund? Are these funds that we plan to secure through federal funding? Which sources are you using to leverage these projects?
Sure, I'd be happy to share that with you. So as you know, the city recently took back its private activity bond program. And this year alone, we've issued $140 million of private activity bonds, which are paired with low-income housing tax credits, and they're paired with rental housing revolving fund that's supplied by and administered by the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. The low-income housing tax credit was originated in 1986. Since its origination as part of the Tax Reform Act, almost 4 million units of housing have been produced with that low-income housing tax credit. However, on Hawaii, it's a very limited resource. It's our most powerful resource, but it's very limited. So the city is currently working on developing additional ways to structure financing packages to support the development of affordable housing. In fact, we recently retained the Center for public enterprise who will be working with us to develop some of those models. We had our first kickoff meeting with them last Monday, and we hope to have a model that we can deliver by the end of this year.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Cordero, followed by Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you. Hi, Director Designate. What is your communication style? Because, I've approached you to ask about, you speaking with a group of residents in my district, and I have to find that out from the residents themselves, as well as pulling out all this information and meeting with you. Which is in Makalapa. And then another area is, for the RFQs, you mentioned that you have 9 already, and one would be Delight Bakery property in Kalihi. And while I'm glad to hear about it, of course, I found out majority of the information, or a majority of the information from Hawaii News Now. And most disappointedly is the combative style that you spoke to our council chair and other members of the council in committee last week or a few weeks ago. So, Director Designate, what is your communication style?
Direct. Housing is an incredibly important subject. It's a top priority for our administration. We're in crisis. And so when I speak about housing, I speak directly. I'm passionate about housing. I have a son who's 23 years old. If my son went out and looked for a place to live today, once he graduates from UH at the end of the year, he would not be able to find a place to live that he could afford. We have that problem across our island. We have thousands of people leaving our island every single month because they can't afford to live here. So our intervention has to be swift and immediate. So I'm very direct in the way that I address this problem.
Okay, thank you, but I would appreciate if you directly communicate with our council members.
We certainly have, and I think with respect to the Delight Bakery site, we reached out, we sent you a letter that we were gonna announce this. So it was part of our strategic plan that we announced in January and that we updated folks on in April of this year. We've asked for another opportunity to provide an update on where we've been, what we've done, and haven't had that chance yet. We certainly look forward to that. With respect to Makalapa, we've had a conversation about that subject in your office. I've met with those folks 6 times trying to help them. They reached out to the mayor's office seeking assistance, and I've gone out there on my time during the evening to meet with those folks to try to find a way to help them. It's as simple as that. I don't have a concrete way of doing that yet. There are 122 members of that group. They're a cooperative. They need to make a decision themselves on what they want to do. I've presented them with some options, and once they have an option that they may elect to work with the city, I'm happy to share that with you, but there's nothing concrete to discuss yet.
I understand. I just would appreciate learning about this, not from residents or Hawaii News Now. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you. Good to see you. I'm also direct, so I appreciate directness, but I do need to let you know, just the chatter that seems to be going around, that the only thing I would recommend just moving forward is that, it also requires diplomacy and finesse. And I just highly recommend that you talk to someone to help you as you navigate that, because directness on its own is not enough, especially in a premier job like this. I'd like to focus on 201H projects and a question regarding that, because while it falls in the Department of Planning and Permitting with regard to Kuleana, because you have been elevated, I think I need more attention from you on the oversight. And the reason I'm saying this is we do have a project today, which I will be talking about. I'm hoping this project moves forward, but at the same time, I am still upset. I had sent you several months ago when the legislature had passed a bill and the governor signed into law on July 3rd, Act 294, which basically constrains us for 201H projects, forcing us to an up and down vote. And most recently, we actually threatened a veto, because not all of the elements were there. So I would like to know if, number one, you are going to give greater attention to certain projects that overlap with DPP. And the reason being, the mayor was opposed to this measure, as was Chair Waters and myself, and many of the counties. And we are going to be seeking a repeal of the measure next year because we don't believe, or I don't believe, that the legislative housing chairs should be speaking for the counties. So my question to you is, are you going to be there with us? We believe that if we are unable to get a full repeal, that they should exempt the measure. They should exempt Oahu from this measure because we have found out that those who wanted to take away county authorities were targeting the county of Maui, and they felt that a lot of projects were not moving forward. So question is, are you going to give some attention to it? And second, are you going to be working with us and the Director of Planning and Permitting to seek a repeal of this measure, if not an exemption for Oahu at the next legislative session?
Thank you very much for that question, Councilmember. Gosh, I have so many thoughts about all of that. First and foremost, I would like just to, your comments about communication and directness and style are very much resonate with me, and I appreciate that. Coming from the private sector for nearly 40 years, this is my first foray into a government type of function. And obviously the communication style is very different. I'm a brand new director. I'm getting used to that. I'm getting exposed to it more. I'm working with council members a little bit more directly. In fact, just made a presentation to Chair Waters last week, and I hope to continue that. It's been a difficult process, as you can imagine, establishing a new platform for housing that we haven't had in nearly 30 years and an entire generation. It's been a lot to absorb, consume, plan, and roll out over the last year. And hopefully we're going to try to get better at that over time. I'm certainly committed to doing that. There's no question about that. Secondly, with this respect to the 201H program, we couldn't agree with you more. The leadership, our department, myself, we're all opposed to Act 38. There's no question for that. There's no reason for a double layer of approval process, particularly with the folks over at the HHFDC having full control of 201H here in the city. It's home rule. That's our view. I've expressed that to both housing chairs on the state, on the Senate and the House side. I had a long conversation with Stanley Chang, the Senator of the Housing Committee, conveying that exact sentiment, so we would be with you 100%. I'd also like to add, Council Member, that we are working directly with DPP. We just had a conversation last week about how we can integrate more functions now that we have a full platform. But again, it's only been a couple of months, so trying to get all of this stuff together and moving in the same direction all at the same time it's a Herculean task, for sure.
Greatly appreciated. And again, when we consider a 201H project today, I'm going to comment a little bit about how HHFDC may not be understanding that when you deal with there's a difference between a freestanding 201H project and a project that is part of a master plan project where a unilateral agreement had already required affordable housing as its component. So when you use the 201H project, it's normally for freestanding projects because otherwise you're double dipping. You're okay, so I just want to flag it for you, and hopefully you or your staff will be watching the consideration of the 201H project later. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member.
Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. Director Designate, I have just a follow-up question based on something I heard you've been talking about the plan and you coming in and having to fill in this role from a different private sector, you're having to adjust. We know that prior to you, there was the director prior to you, and they had contracted, there was money expended from the city, and there was a plan. So are we using part of that plan? It sounds like you're trying to have to start everything from scratch right now. Are we using that plan, or are we abandoning that and starting fresh? I'm trying to get a grasp of where we are in this plan that I think a lot of us have been asking for some time now.
And gosh, we really love an opportunity to come back and present where we're at. It's now September. You know, we're 9 months into our program, and we'd love to have an opportunity to share that with you. When we talk about the strategic plan that we presented in January, there were half a dozen very key components about that. One was aligning development along the rail. TOD is where we have the most potential, transit-oriented development is where we have the most potential for density and the most potential to reduce household expenses for families if we can build housing along the rail line. The first segment is open. The second segment will be open by October 15th, 16th. The third segment will be open by 2031. We've been working in the city on neighborhood transit-oriented development plans for the last 15 years. I think we have 9 of those. They have been fully vetted by the communities. They have been approved by City Council, and now is our opportunity to activate those plans. It also gives us an opportunity to align utilities to support housing and housing development. It also provides us with an opportunity to keep the country and focus our development along the rail corridor. So that's one of the key items. The second is putting the platform back together, which we've achieved. Thank you very much to the council and your approval in May for that. We were fully funded by virtue of being able to complete a combined budget for the Department of Housing and Land Management and the new department, which was just terrific. So we were fully funded for the first time July 1st. That platform, now our biggest goal is really filling the seats in that platform and bringing the good folks in and the team, putting the team together that we're going to need to help us execute. The third piece was looking at city lands. And that's the piece that we talked about. Maybe I came out of the gate too quickly on that. I've learned from that, and we'll certainly consider that in the future. But we identified 10 parcels of city-owned land, almost over 20 acres, where we could accommodate 2,500 to 3,000 units of housing. If we had issued requests for proposals for that land, it would have taken us a year to get those offers out the door, the solicitations out the door. We'll have completed that process, all 10 of them, before the end of this year. And we're very excited about that because that will create a pipeline for us. The fourth thing that we wanted to take a look at, or the fifth thing we want to take a look at, is how do we finance that? As we just discussed, we need alternative ways to finance that. It does us no good as the city to provide land to development partners, and they turn around and go wait in line at the HHFDC to receive very limited and very precious low-income housing tax credits. So we've got to find alternative ways to finance. And then the last thing that we really are focused on is our existing policies and just understanding, do they work? Can we make them better? Are there different things that we want to do? And so we've developed a relationship with UHERO, University of Hawaii's economic research organization, to help us with that. One of the first projects that came out the door was the Subsidized Housing Explorer. And that, for the first time, gave us an opportunity to understand what is the landscape for affordable housing in Hawaii? How many projects are there? What types of subsidies do they use? When do those subsidies roll off, and when do those projects become at risk? Whose districts are they in, so that council members can understand what the resources are for affordable housing in their district? And then how can we make that platform better as we go forward? We're currently working with UHERO on another policy, top-down policy review, and we hope to share something out before the end of the year. Thank you.
Okay, that was a long answer to it. I think I have a couple of follow-ups, but
sure.
So I think what I wanted just to clarify, that the platform and the plan that you're using, is it based on anything that we had contracted for in the previous plan that was supposed to be presented to us? Is that something that you're using, or are you just starting afresh?
Yeah. So there was in the plan that we're using, it was supplemented by
that.
Really
okay,
great demographic and analytical data that we use to support
okay.
the strategies that we're engaging in.
So I wanted to go back to a statement you made earlier about RFQs. Can you expound on the financing? What happens to the city projects when 201H funding runs out?
Yeah, so there's a difference between RFQ and financing. An RFQ, we worked with the governor's office last October through the emergency proclamation to allow the city to issue requests for qualifications versus a request for proposal. And the primary differences between the two is when you ask for a request for a proposal, you're asking for a very specific response to a very specific program. So if it's a development program, for instance, you would be defining that for the developer, whereas we prefer to reach out to the developer and say, we have this great piece of city land, who's best qualified to develop this? You work with us, developer, because you're the expert to develop the program. But the beauty of, and the benefit to the city of working with RFQs is we're able to issue those much faster. In fact, we engaged in a pilot program with the purchasing department under the Budget and Fiscal Services Department to allow the Department of Housing and Land Management to craft those RFQs, and then we hand them back to purchasing, and they simply post them on the state's hands website. And so that's been really critical for us because it's allowed us to be able to get those properties into the marketplace and into the hands of developers faster. Once we have them out, now we've got to work on crafting development contracts and ground leases with those development partners, and then trying to find alternative ways to finance those developments.
Okay, so being that there is limited amount of funding for 201H projects, do you feel that the 10 RFQs is too many? What happens if the funding runs out?
So a good majority of 201H projects will seek low-income housing tax credits and private activity bonds, and that's just a finite resource. Across the state of Hawaii, we receive approximately $360 million worth of private activity bonds annually. Most of that, if not all of it, historically has gone towards the development of housing. The city and county of Honolulu receives approximately 37.5% of that allocation, which equates to about $140 million. So with $140 million of private activity bonds and low-income housing tax credits, we can build approximately or deliver approximately 400 to 440 units of affordable housing every year. In fact, the West Lock transaction that we closed in March and the Kuhio Park Terrace transaction that we will close just coming up in September for the Hawaii Public Housing Authority, the total's about 440 units of housing.
Okay, thank you.
It's not enough.
So follow up just on your last statement that you made. What, in dealing with this affordable housing projects that the administration plans to create, what would you say the split of single-family units? Is the administration looking more for rental or for own, for fee simple or lease? I'm sorry, rent or fee simple? Are we looking at, when you say we're trying to build affordable units, are we looking at, what's the priority of the administration?
Great question. And because we use ground leases, the majority of those, we wouldn't sell the land, so to speak, for single-family homes. So the majority of those developments would be rental.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, members. Appreciate the lively discussion. We'll have more time in committee to further this discussion, so thank you. I do recognize you got a lot on your plate and that you are new to Department of Land Management as the director, but I think you know from the discussion today that you have an important job, and we need you to do your best. You got 3 years. Little over 3 years. We are under a lot of pressure to deliver affordable units, and we approve them every day, and we're going to approve another one today probably, but once we approve it, it still takes years to get them built. So we want to see if we can get them built as soon as possible, but appreciate you being here today. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have one person registered in the chamber and one person standing by remotely.
Okay, let's start with Chamber. Aloha, welcome. Is that Perry Aerosmith?
Aloha, good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Council. Just testifying in a personal capacity today. I work professionally as the Director of Policy at Housing Hawaii's Future. We were very surprised many months ago when Director-Designate Ajay reached out to us and sought our input on the Mayor's Strategic Housing Plan. It's not every day that a Director-Designate of a department seeks input from nonprofits like ours, and we know that we're not alone. We know he talked story with a lot of folks and was genuinely committed to listening to us. And it was not a one-off meeting. He gave out his phone number. He welcomed our input. We email him back and forth. We talk story with him frequently. And we find that variant of his leadership very promising. We don't want to well, we want to recognize that the strategic housing plan, it's not the end, it is the beginning, it is the prologue. And at Housing Hawaii's Future, we're going to continue to follow up with the mayor's team to see what they're doing to actually address our chronic housing shortage. It's not a problem that's going to be addressed overnight, but we're very hopeful that over the next 3 years, Director-designate Auger is going to do a great job building out a foundation for the city and county of Honolulu's future. So we humbly ask that you advance his nomination. Thank you very much. Aloha.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, you said we have a remote testifier?
Yes, sir. We have two, Kylie Swan and Donald Sakamoto.
Okay, please proceed.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and community members. I'd like to nominate the housing director because he's very good on this project, and I really liked his speech. His speech is very fantastic, and I hope he can help us in a city county of Honolulu housing director, like managing our tree because our trees getting long by our houses. In tree cutting, etc. And good job in his speech, and keep it up. And I hope you can see him in the future in our next committee meeting. Thank you so much. Let me testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Don Sakamoto. Hello, Mr. Sakamoto. Please proceed. You're on mute, Mr. Sakamoto.
Yes, good morning, Council Chair Waters, Vice Chair Tapola, and council members. My name is Don Sakamoto, longtime resident of Kaneohe. As a disabled blind person, as also advocate for the disabled, I emphasize that we need more housing for the disabled, accessibility for those who are double amputee and whatnot. I tried to bring the Mayor's Committee back for Disabilities with Mayor Belangiati in 2022, so we can give direction to his administration and his directors of what is acquired for our needs as the disabled people. We just signed the AD law. Thank you for doing that on your part for 35 years, but we need to do more emphasis for AD. I would like to work with the director and the administration in giving more input for the disabled, what we need in our housing, because there's not enough housing for us. We need accessible units for us to live in independently, and it's a I would say in a way that we have our dignity as disabled people. We deserve that right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? Piku Chu Billionaire, please come forward.
Aloha mai kako. Thank you for coming out today. I know it's a tough task. It looks like you come from DC. I was almost going to miss the bus here because it was running late. And so I want to support with reservations because I graduated from Trump University, Rich Dad University, Nouveau Reach, and additional college degrees. So I understand real estate and math. And I want to offer a solution to all of you because we filmed and documented everything on Facebook Live. We're still live streaming. That what Peter Savio, developer, told us in front of all the Republicans during this recent listening tour. He said that rental housing is evil because they're taking the value away from the people, meaning equity, cash flow, appreciation, depreciation, credit, the tax deductions that you're not going to get. If we just do rent, someone else, you're going to get the equity. You're going to get the cash flow, depreciation, appreciation, all those real estate benefits. And that's why we want to invest in real estate. And so what they could do for DHHL is to modernize the leases. Currently, they are archaic. It's not like a Bishop Estate Trust. It's not like a typical land lease. It's not like we're developing in Arizona or in Scottsdale or in New York, because I did real estate development before working in Scottsdale and Phoenix, and it's a lot of work you have to do with city and county, all these nonprofits. So I'd like to encourage Kevin to work with the city council, talk to them, and I do not approve of the rail. because that's why I'm being late, because of the bus. It's stuck on traffic. You know, people in the Kapuna in Waianae can't even go down to the store because they can't roll down the ramp or use their walker. And I'm seeing the same issues in Kalihi, which is number 2 in crime. So I'd like you to address these issues working with the city council, state reps, and the community and nonprofits. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify? Aloha, welcome. Please proceed.
First of all, I'd like to know if you have konahiki rights. Do you know about konahiki?
Actually,
konahiki is land management under the Kingdom of Hawaii. Next, do you folks have allodial title? Not one of you folks mentioned about allodial title. Allodial title means private property forever by King Kamehameha III. Lastly, you folks have no right to even be building in Hawaii. Aloha.
thank you, sir. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify? Aloha, please come forward.
Aloha. I want to tell you something about like the Constitution of Kamehameha III. And, you know, our queen, Liliuokalani, she was trying to push this. She had some kind of document or whatever in her hand. And I think one was maybe like Constitution and maybe like annexation. Or I could be wrong, maybe, I don't know, maybe health, safety, security, identity. That's how I look at it now, identity. Identity theft of the Kanaka Maolis. And our queen, because I look at her picture tell 1,000 words or more. And just like she lost her dignity, but she still was proud in a humble way. And the spirit that she just, you know, wrote one song and was in her heart, and that's our spirits. That's how we live. And you guys know that word, aloha, yeah? We live them, we sleep them, we do everything with them. Because it's in a law. One code, I forget the number. We all should follow that, right? Teach our kids, just the 10 Commandments, or the right thing to do. I mean, I shouldn't leave that now because I wasn't doing that. So, identity theft is just like rape. And our law is like our spirit, like Kiakua, our creator. And that's what I follow. And I'm not going to step on nobody's toes, wherever, country or whatever. I get Chinese, Portuguese, to me, I get everything, what I need, and how much you need to be content in life. And I look at the Hawaiian culture, all the traditions. It's not for sale, for tourists, show off. No way. I worked Queen Surf before in the late 50s and the 60s. I was Kalu'u Pig.
Thank you, Calvin.
Yeah, I like to tell you my history, but I'm going to respect you because I get law. I hope you guys can talk to us, guys. We do them free. We get ALOHA. We're a public. You guys are supposed to be serving us. And the main one is the Kanaka Maolis and the actual structure of justice and everything. It's us guys before the nobles and our queen or king or whoever more.
Appreciate
but anyway,
it, Calvin. Okay, thank you. Okay, members, we're in discussion. Seeing none. Okay, Resolution 25-206 has been referred
Sure,
to
sorry.
committee. Oh, I'm sorry,
Discussion.
Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you. I'm quite torn on how I'll vote. I know that a lot of mentioning regarding discussing this in committee, so I know we'll go for a vote, but when it comes to committee or if it comes back, I would be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none. Okay, Resolution 25-206 is referred to committee. Thank you. Turning to the bottom, page 5, Resolution 25-237, confirming the appointment of Catherine Stevens to serve on the Oahu Historic Preservation Commission of the City and County of Honolulu. Do we have Catherine Stevens here?
Mr. Chair, she is available by video conference.
Okay, please proceed. Would you like to say a few words?
Mahalo, Chair, Vice Chair, and Council members. Thank you for considering my appointment to the Oahu Historic Preservation Commission. I've served not only my entire professional career in historic preservation, but also spent much of my personal time through participating in related organizations and boards, including the Hawaii Historic Places Review Board. I do look forward to the opportunity to support the city and county in the preservation efforts, as well as continuing to help educate and assist the community through those efforts. And I'm available for any questions you might have.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Oh, actually, pardon me. Seeing no discussion, Resolution 25-237 has been referred to committee. Turning to page 6, Resolution 25-238, confirming the reappointment of Mahelani Cipher to serve on the Oahu Historic Preservation Commission of the City and County of Honolulu. I note that Ms. Cipher is present. Aloha, welcome, and would you like to say a few words?
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
I want to thank all of you for your support in bringing this commission forward in the last 2 years. Commission is working really hard to satisfy our commitment to the council and the mayor to help resolve issues that involve historic preservation for the city and county. That is what I hope to do as a member of the commission, is to continue urging resolution of issues, resolution of problems, so that we're not an obstacle. We want to teach the community that historic sites are an asset, not an obstacle. So we need to help landowners and developers know early in their planning that these sites improve the value of the property and not reduce the value. So that's basically what I hope to do, and I hope all of you will join me in continuing to support historic preservation on Oahu. Mahalo.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Councilmember Tupola.
Aloha, thank you for being here and for your service. In the committee, I'm going to bring up some thoughts about what Mikiala talked about today. Not only Pu'o Kapolei, but this past weekend, I actually helped to restore the areas around Mauna Lahilahi, which is all city property, lots of kupuna'iwi, lots of archaeological sites, and no funding, no help, no maintenance, nothing really on the city side to preserve this really historic site. So I just want to see how we might be able to partner more on that, but more conversation in committee.
Yeah. Well, you will be happy to know that we have staff, a little bit of staff now, and they are actually working on the city inventory. They've developed a preliminary list that we hope to put all of that together in a informational material so that we can train city workers on the sites that they manage that are historic, that are important as wahipana or wahikapu. So we teach them what they're maintaining, maybe they'll take better care.
Yeah, mahalo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, mahalo.
Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Any discussion, members? Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just very grateful that Mahelani Cipher has agreed to be reappointed to this commission. As a reminder for those council members who are newer to the council, but for her testimony, when I first arrived here at my first zoning meeting in 2021, she submitted testimony opposing the proposal by the Department of Planning and Permitting to repeal the underlying authority for this measure. And it was because of that testimony that we're here today, because it led to a collective review by both the administration, the city council, as well as those in the community who care deeply about historic preservation. And we realized that we just needed to modify the underlying statute to give it new life. And just very pleased for her to be here. I think the city council is very lucky that she's agreeing to serve again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none. Resolution 25-238 has been referred to the Committee on Planning and Zoning. Moving to the bottom of page 6, Resolution 25-241, confirming the appointment of Charles Mitsui to serve on the Board of Parks and Recreation of the City and County of Honolulu. Is Mr. Mitsui here? Aloha, welcome. Would you like to say a few words? Actually, could you push the button?
It was already on. Okay, there we go. Good morning, council members. Thank you for the nomination. I'm hoping I can bring the experience I've had working with skate park development over the last 29 years to kind of the broader scale of what the Parks Department's doing, and hopefully we can find a way to have some more facilities and places for the teens to kind of come out and use the parks. I think that's an important part of the Parks Department that's missing right now. So I'm hopeful that my nomination can help push those along. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any questions for the nominee? Councilmember Kia Aina.
Hey, aloha, Chuck. I'm actually very, very excited for your nomination. And I wanted to thank you for agreeing to serve on the board. Your contributions in my community have been very meaningful. And of course, you know, it's your contributions to our Kailua, Ke'olu, and Kaneohe skate parks. In the current operating budget that was enacted into law, I was able to secure $100,000 for a pump track at Waimanalo District Park. And just given your background, it's a little complicated sometimes for the Department of Parks and Recreation to pull off something like this, because this is only partial of the funding. A lot will have to come from other sources. But I'm hoping that given your background, you might be able to provide guidance to DPR on how to finesse this and work with the community, because there's a lot of people in the community that have been working long time. And I would hate for it to come to pass that because of the mechanism set up in DPR that they're not even going to get out of the box because they don't know how. And the system doesn't allow for innovative processes for the city to join together with the private industry. You have any comments on that?
Yeah, I think that's why Laura asked me to come serve on this board in particular, because I'm kind of an out-of-the-box thinker, and I've worked with different parts of the city and county to develop parks in different ways. So I've done it where it was all funded through the city and county. I've done public-private partnerships. I've done ones that were almost exclusively on the private side of funding. So I'm hopeful that I can develop a pathway for these parks to get built, and that's the real thing that I'm after, is to form a committee for action sports in particular. So that'd be biking, inline skating, quad skating, skateboarding, and the facilities that they want to use, and find a way to develop those. So there's certain processes that the parks go through and how you have to interact with the community in order to get through this, then get through to the design phase, get through the approval of the design, get through the funding, and then the construction. So my hope is that through the development of the Wahiawa District Park, they're building a skate park there. We're, I'd say, about 30% of the way through that process. I'm hoping I can use that as a model to put forth towards other members of the community to find this pathway to getting their projects done. In particular with Waimanalo, I've been working with that group for several years. It's been a struggle, and I think the pathway is very unclear. So I'm hoping to form this action sports committee so those members of the community can come in and we can help guide them on the steps and process to go through to get that accomplished.
Okay, looking forward to it. And in Waimanalo, we have the land, they've delineated where. I looked at this as seed money, And I'm looking forward to you being on board so you can help us find a pathway.
No problem. And I've actually I put $14,000 into the design of that pump track already. So through my organization, we're already committed.
Okay, mahalo, mahalo.
Thank you. Any further questions, members? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers? Natalie Wasa, welcome.
Thank you, Natalie Wasa, for the record. Gosh, what this gentleman just said is a breath of fresh air for me. I just wanted to give a comment and a request because he mentioned skateboard parks in particular. So in Hawaii Kai, there were 3 brothers over a decade ago who advocated heavily for a skateboard park out there. And it came to fruition. We have that out there. What I wanted to request is that when you put these parks into place, as I understand it, there's a special coating that is put on the concrete, and that's to kind of help the skateboarders. And unfortunately, the park in Hawaii Kai was graffitied, and most of that special coating is gone. So I think it's really important that when you put these parks into place, that the public is educated, because if the skateboarders know that they're not supposed to do that, they will be monitoring other people so that it doesn't get glossed over with paint and then damaged. So just those comments, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on the nomination of Charles Mitsui? Seeing none, any discussion, members? Seeing none, Resolution 24-241 has been referred to the Committee on Housing, Homelessness, and Parks. Moving to the top of page 7, Vice Chair Tupola.
I move that the first reading items listed on pages 7 through 10 of the agenda pass first reading.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Vice Chair Tupola for the explanation.
Bill 56 relating to special management areas, Bill 57 relating to dumpsters, Bill 58 relating to real property tax exemptions, Bill 59 relating to sewer service charges, Bill 60 relating to the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, Bill 61 relating to real property taxation, Bill 62 relating to amendments to bed and breakfast home and transient vacation unit standards and requirements initially made under Ordinance 24-14, but inadvertently omitted under Ordinance 25-2.
Thank you for the explanation. Mr. Clerk, do we have any? Well, I understand we do have a number of registered testifiers. I'm going to take it in order of bills introduced. So starting with Bill 56, I believe we have Raquel Achiu registered to testify. Please proceed.
Aloha, good morning. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair, Vice Chair, Council members. Mahalo for this opportunity. Raquel Achu, I am Vice Chair of the North Shore Neighborhood Board, but testifying as an individual, Piko to the Wailua Moku on the North Shore, where we have a significant amount of space that lies in the SMA. I'm just going to give a couple points to start this conversation out. The SMA applications, what we have found significantly happening and consistently on the North Shore, they are submitted with minimal value criteria to avoid an SMA major, and there's no one there to test, to verify those values. So it allows them to skip the time and expense in addressing the environmental, cultural, and shoreline, et cetera, kuleana, further resulting in portioning and phasing their applications, breaking up the projects so that each job falls under the $500,000 threshold. And considering materials alone in construction now, very few builds are less than $500,000. I suspect there will be considerable opposition to this effort, but I feel very, very strongly that the kuleana and integrity of our spaces and our process are at risk. If a project is submitted complete, accurate, and responses to DPP's inquiries are made timely with the continued improvements that Director Apuna has placed with her team, there should be a very reasonable assumption of a fair and timely process. So I suspect that most builders will not also want neighborhood boards or community associations to rein in, because we are very skeptical of plans that affect our space, and we are the ones that are ma'a to that space. So I appreciate the time, and I look forward to a stronger conversation as this process goes forward. Mahalo.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do you have any other testifiers on Bill 56?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers for that bill.
Thank you. Bill 57, relating to dumpsters. I believe Shelby Billionaire has registered to testify.
Hello, my kako, Pikachu, Shelby Billionaire, back for all of you. Thank you again. I actually testified on 10 bills today, so I'm glad we're speeding through the process. So I can kind of speed this up for you guys. So Bill 57, I'm in support for people watching online or little TV or in Facebook land. A lot of people from Waianae don't really come out to this because it's far, it's tiring. We just had our Waianae Neighborhood Board meeting last night. Thank you, Andrew Topola, for bringing it up to talking about this. Now, talking about dumpsters, I read over the bill. Thank you for introducing it. At first, it seems like it's a bad bill, but it's actually going to do some good work. But the problem I initially remembered was when Councilmember Topola brought up, we complain about trash. I know, Chair Waters, you were on the news recently, and that you get called from your constituents when they don't come pick up your trash. But I remember the garbage trucks, there was something wrong with the contract during coronavirus and we couldn't get them back in. So we had to swap contracts with West Oahu Aggregate and we're having some other issues. So hopefully we can address that and I support passing this bill. And with the time left over, I'm also supporting Bill 58, Bill 59, Bill 61, Bill 62. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on Bill 57? Thank you. Moving on to Bill 58. Relating to real property tax exemptions. Rule 58, Shelby Billionaire.
Aloha mai kako, ohayo gozaimasu, Pikachu Shelby. Since I'm back again for Bill 58, I'm in support, and I ran all these bills through AI, just to let you know. AI means love, I in Japanese, not artificial intelligence. You can call it ALOHA intelligence, because I want to flip the script using Grok. I do use AI, I do use Elon Musk. The only bills that break the AI is your god dang budget bills. The state and your county bills break my AI and it doesn't work. So I do support these bills because it does do things for lower income property tax for low-income rental housing, but I want to repeat what I said with Kevin. I know the ladies on the council grilled them and drilled them real hard talking about real estate because you're going to take away the cash flow, equity, appreciation, depreciation from brand new homeowners. If I had a brand new kid and I tell them, oh, save money to buy a house, they're never going to get the 20% down, debt to income ratio of 40% for $1 million home. I'd send them to Tennessee where they could buy a $200,000 building for something else. So I support this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bill 59. Anybody like to testify on Bill 59? Related to sewer fee service charges. Natalie Waso.
Thank you, Chair, Council members. Natalie Wassa for the record. I support this. Mainly what this bill does is it takes out some requirements for industrial users with high suspended solids in their wastewater. And typically that would sound like it's not a good thing, but as I understand it, this provision is not used. These users have permits that the city regulates, and so this really isn't needed. The other part of this is that Bill 60 took out all of that wording for those users, so this makes the ordinances consistent, it makes it simpler, and it takes out unneeded things, which I support most of the time, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else on Bill 59? Seeing none, moving on to Bill 60, relating to the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation. I believe Mark Anthony Clemente has registered to testify. Mr. Clerk, is Mr. Clemente available?
Mr. Chair, the testifier is not logged on.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on Bill 60? Please proceed.
Aloha mai kako. This is one of the bills I'm opposing because when you run this by the AI, it says no. They lied to me and the rest of the public said it's going to cost $10 billion, but it's been $12 billion. It's going to go to $22 billion. Who the heck builds a rail system going to UH, doesn't even go to Waikiki, doesn't go to Ala Moana? If you got to pee and use the bathroom, if you got kids or you're kapuna, you can't go nowhere, you get stuck. So I oppose this bill, and regardless of how I feel, I know it'll pass, but I still oppose this bill. In the name of the Kingdom of Hawaiian Islands, Keau Puni o Kovai Pai'aina, and the American side for Ohana Unity Party, and everyone else from the future. I think it's dumb. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on Bill 60? Let's go with Konahiki first, and then... Can you say your name for the record, please?
Konahiki. The rail transit was illegal from the beginning. It had too much lies. The rail transit going to be obsolete when it finish. So how can you folks keep feeding billions of dollars to this crappy rail? You know, I came before you folks many times. Where is the forensic audit? How much money was spent? How much money came in from the federal government? You know, we needed one investigation, one federal investigation. But somebody will end it quickly. They should continue to investigate everything in Hawaii. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Andrew Pereira, followed by Konohiki number 2.
Chair,
Please
Vice
proceed.
Chair, members of the council. Andrew Pereira, Director of Public Affairs for Pacific Resource Partnership. Won't belabor the point with repeating my written testimony, but as the council is fully aware, the 0.5% surcharge that funds the construction of rail is scheduled to sunset December 31st, 2030. My great fear is that as we approach that sunset date, if you don't give HART the purpose to continue planning and doing preliminary engineering for future spurs of rail, that we could see a massive brain drain from the agency as we approach that sunset date. So passing a common sense measure such as Bill 60 will allow the future planning to take place. And as we approach that sunset date, another great fear is that we could see the dissolution of HART. And to reconstitute HART after that date would be a tremendous waste of taxpayer dollars. And so PRP urges the council in its wisdom to move this measure forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, welcome again.
Aloha, Kelvin Hulehe, Konohiki. You know, I was thinking before when I came here and they started the rail, planning and whatever, you know, and had friends in the bus. They was driving, and I was thinking out of the blues. I said, why don't they have more express bus and more commuters, like shorter route going up and down? And because I got familiar with Los Angeles, I used to always take the bus. I seen the park and ride structures like that. So, you know, I was lost before, but I got little akamai, and my schedule was not more Hawaiian. But anyway, I oppose this, all illegal, tax, allodial title, all free. We give them to people who do what is more important for the people. The bottom line, what you folks doing is for us, and what we standing here today is not because of us. It's because, I guess, the spirits and what we look for. Because I never looked this way before. Coming back. Aloha.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on Bill 60? Bill 60. Seeing none, moving on to Bill 61, relating to real property taxation.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we had 3 persons online with their hands raised for the last
For
measure.
Bill 60? Okay, please proceed. Is that Jacob Wynick?
Yes, Councilor Chair Jacob Winstek. Appreciate the opportunity to provide testimony in strong support of Bill 60. 2 points I want to make. The first one is prior preparation prevents poor performance. One of the challenges that our Skyline projects face is challenges in terms of just basic planning. And I encourage the council to use this measure as a forward-looking measure to reduce costs for any future extensions. Particularly, we do have to get Skyline to Ala Moana Center to the UH Manoa. There's plenty of opportunity to expand it in West Oahu as well, provide even broader benefits. And I say this as a daily regular commuter using transit, the bus and Skyline to get from East Honolulu to West Oahu. So there are particular benefits from doing this, from making sure we've got proper planning. And I strongly urge the council to support this bill through our legislative process. Thank you.
Thank you. Who do we have next, Mr. Clerk?
We have Donald Sakamoto.
Don Sakamoto, please proceed.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Tapola, and rest council members. Donald Sakamoto. I kind of oppose this bill because HART, they don't think about the people with disabilities. They're building this rail in Dillingham, and the construction is affecting accessibility for persons with disability and sidewalks for everybody. And now that they're going limits for 5 to 6 years, I have outreach to the ADA coordinator for city, as well as just spoke to somebody from HART about my concerns about the accessibility. It's ridiculous. We passed the ADA law for 35 years, yourself, the council, the mayor, and the governor, and we're still having blocks of for our disabled to get around. Too much money has been spent, not enough for the core services. Our roads are terrible, not enough housing. Our paratransit is disarray. We need more to be accountable. So by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. So do the right thing and prepare to not pass this bill, because it's unjust. There's too much money being spent. It's costing me as well as other people to move away. I'm probably gonna have to move away because it's too expensive to live here with this outrageous rail and sucking all the money. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Clerk.
We have Kylie Swan standing by remotely.
Please proceed.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Kylie Swan. I am a heavy user for the Skylines. So if it's possible, if you can add more accessible bathrooms people can use to ride the Skylines, like people need to go use the facilities. They don't have to go outside to use facility where a lot of homeless people keep on destroying their restrooms for the public to use. So if you can allow people to use the bathroom so that people can do their bids if they really, really have to go. So thanks for allowing me to testify. I hope that you can look at this portable facilities so people can access to. Thank you so much for letting me to testify.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers on Bill 60?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Moving to Bill 61. Bill 61. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to testify? Shelby Billionaire.
Pikachu Shelby Billionaire. Keep it short and sweet. I stand in support. Mahalo nui loa.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? Bill 61.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Moving on to Bill 62. Bill 62, I believe we have a number of registered testifiers, starting with Shelby Pikachu Billionaire.
Thank you very much. This is a support measure, Pikachu Shelby Billionaire, because we have a lot of this stuff on the neighbor islands. I know they use it when you come and visit. In Molokai, there's that one little bakery shop you can come stop by. Big Island, there's some other spots. So I'd like to support this bill, but I also want to make the council members aware that some of these places are used for human trafficking, organ harvesting, and drug smuggling, especially start going to Kona and Hilo side. We have the corrupt Justin Davis, who I reported to the U.S. Marshals and other people as well. The Epstein files were just released, but it's all covered up. You guys can see the victim testimonies out there. So I encourage you, while you guys are approving those bills, you're also aware of what's going on nationally, how the people feel, and that you support the people who love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Tara Gregory.
Aloha.
Aloha, welcome.
Hello, my kako. Thank you. Taralia Gregory, resident of Kalama Valley. I support this bill, but with further discussion and amendments, thank you, Vice Chair, and mahalo, Chair, and the council members for the time to speak today. This is a nuanced issue. For myself, my parents are who are Kanaka. My dad is a Navy veteran. My mom, they both grew up in Palolo. So I've returned home now, and I'm trying to get them back in and price them back into their home. I'm a former middle school teacher and a fitness entrepreneur, so I have a background with child development and neuroscience, and I spend my days working with Kupuna mostly, and they've been speaking to me a lot about also their everyday struggles to hang on to their property. That's why I just want to introduce Act 17. Before 2022, homeowners had protections, but now after this act, the authority has shifted to the city and council, and it has inadvertently empowered corporations, maybe not on purpose or intentional, but it's creating this false fight between the 15-unit operator against the 1-unit homeowner. The truth is they're not the same. So the family renting out a garage to survive cannot be treated like an investor with 15 properties. If the mayor says the problem is with big operators, then we need to enforce and tax them. But what's happening is kupuna and families with 1 unit are being now squeezed out. I need to ask for immediate relief for owner-occupied homes because those are the people carrying the heaviest burden. The testimonies that I've read make it clear that most locals who rely on STR income earn it from stays that are 10 days or less, not 30 days or more. So that's what exactly 62 puts at risk. So we've already seen this danger on Maui with Bill 9. It was sold as a victory, but it does it gouges its own people while opening the door for outside interests. So we can't repeat this mistake here. So just in conclusion, Bill 62 does need more conversation, I believe, and deeper research. This is about protecting the small homeowners, holding large operators accountable, and ensuring Hawaiians and locals aren't set up to lose while corporations gain. So I'm really here just to testify. I am in support of this, but I want to make sure that we protect the small homeowner, provide relief for the owner occupied, but we do hold the big operators accountable. Mahalo for the time to speak. I yield.
Thank you. Next, we have Edward Jones, followed by Jeanette Fukuzawa. Is Edward Jones here? Aloha, welcome.
Aloha, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Topola, and council members. I am Ed Jones. I'm speaking for COSTRO today. Chair, I appreciate our conversations. Prior to the introduction of this bill, I am disappointed that you don't have anything concrete that protects landlords and tenants in a way that the previous testifier just testified. To protect, from the tenant standpoint, to protect our outer island residents, they need to rent an affordable room for just a night, in a HANA setting, to access medical care or our state government. We acknowledge the need to have STR restrictions for the protection of residents from foreign real estate speculators. Do I have 3 minutes for first reading?
1 minute, but I'll permit you to go longer.
Mahalo, Chair. Governmental restrictions must be narrowly tailored to resolve an issue. Our current policy is among the most restrictive in the country. In other words, they have gone too far. Mayor Blangiardi describes this as probably overreach. At the June 26th zoning discussion, a council member interrupted an elderly testifier to lecture her about the law. That testifier is also a lawyer who knows that current STR provisions violate the takings clause of both the U.S. Constitution and the Hawaii Constitution. Please constructively act today, pass this first reading. A lot of work has been gone into the registration modifications, but also in COSTRO testimony, there's exact language that you can take, put in this as you send it to committee. Please be brave and do that and solve this once and for all. We have been waiting many years for this to happen. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Is there any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Jones? Seeing none. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Jeanette Fukuzawa. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha. Aloha to Chair Waters, Vice Chair, and council members. The two previous speakers have said a lot of what I want to communicate. Renting rooms short-term is nothing new. People, particularly women, have been doing this for thousands of years. to supplement their income. As a Hawaii property owner, I don't understand why these regulations are needed if I rent rooms short-term to people while I live in the same house. Amendments to this bill are needed to allow Kama'aina, particularly Kapuna, to rent their property short-term to make ends meet. We're not speculative absentee property owners. Please include amendment that gives us choices that allow us to earn income. This position is consistent with the mayor and the governor's position. The governor says we should support local families to do short-term rentals if they are doing them legally, and we want to do them legally. I've been doing this for 30 years. Starting with Japanese students and moving on to people who came to give medical support during COVID, who need a place to stay while they're looking for a house to move here. So many people. These local families live on the premises and are able to supervise tenants. Please include amendments that support Kapuna to rent for any amount of time. Mahalo.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers on Bill 62? Please proceed.
First of all, the oath of office. You folks know about this? Governor Green had lied on the oath of office. He mentioned he's going to protect and support the Constitution of the United States and Hawaii. He never do a thing. Governor Green never did look at Queen Liliuokalani's statue in her left hand, have the Constitution. Now, how come you folks are doing everything legally in Hawaii? It's not. Everything in Hawaii you folks are doing is illegal. You guys got to follow the rule of law and the Constitution. I thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, we are in discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Calvin.
You're going to discussion, so I just second that. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Members, we're in discussion on all items on pages 7, 8, 9, and 10. Councilmember Cordero.
At the appropriate time, could I ask that we go back to Bill 61? There's one community member that wants to give testimony. I apologize.
No problem. Let's do that now before we go into discussion. Bill 61. Who is that community member? Hi, please proceed. I'm sorry. I was looking at the opposite side of the room.
Sorry, Mr. Chair and council members. I heard 61, but I was waiting for the 25 after it. Anyway, thank you for your willingness to address the plight of Central Kaka'aku. My name is Frank Young. I own KNY Chevron, All Auto Service, and Wayne's Auto Electric. I just need to address a couple issues on this, even though it's early in the process, but the Tax Assessment Division sent out a letter to Kaka'aku owners and businesses that they're going to lose the exemption and that they were going to reject all of the claims that were turned in. And that alarmed because a lot of people don't know how to read this technical letter that Therese Tanabe wrote. So a lot of people didn't reapply for the certification. And just for a little history, back in 2017, Mayor Caldwell tried to repeal this law before it was even put into the process. And at that time, I went before the Real Property Tax Commission. And at that point, they overwhelmingly supported Central Kaka'aku because they also believed at that time that the property tax was way too high for that particular area with no infrastructure improvements. Central Kaka'aku, we're not opposed to paying property tax. Even at 50% with the 50% exemption, we're still going to pay over $2,000 per 1,000 square feet a year for property tax. And with the rail construction coming down the road, everybody knows what it looks like once the construction starts. And I'm going to submit the letter from Sharice Tanabe as to how she worded what she had to say. And I'm a college graduate. I had to read it 3 or 4 times to figure out what she was trying to tell us. Because all the other people that read the thing just didn't reapply for the certification because they said, oh, we got rejected and we can't get it anymore. So that's a sad thing. So I'm submitting her emails, and you guys read the emails, and you decide if it was technically too complicated for the average layman to understand. And again, thank you for your consideration and for bringing this on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else like to testify on first reading items? First reading items. Seeing none, members, we are in discussion. Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to speak on Bill 60, 2025, as it relates to the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, and in its current form, it looks at adhering to the locally preferred alternative. So when we are discussing this, it's not going to be jutting out to all the other parts of the island or all across the creation, but a lot of the discussions that we've heard, I'm sure throughout our terms, as well as just as residents of Oahu, is that we don't want to see just rail go nowhere. And so having this bill will allow for the planning and assessments to make rail connect to places where people need to go and should go. And additionally, we want to ensure that, one of the testifiers says that we need to plan, and planning is what we are authorizing with this bill. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none.
Chair?
I'm sorry, Councilmember Tupola.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak briefly on Bill 56. I do think that I hear the concerns of the community as far as making sure that there's community input, neighborhood board hearings. However, the SMA minors are plentiful, meaning that it's a lot of projects under a certain quantity. And for coastal areas, especially in my area, almost every project along the main highway is an SMA project because of its location, its proximity. So I'm concerned, one, with the overwhelming amount that it'll cost families to do presentations or even hire people for small minor projects. I think there might be better ways for us to just have neighborly input as opposed to making SMA minors at the same level as SMA majors. And then for Bill 60, appreciate the introducer's thoughts on this, and in committee I want to make more conversation, especially in my community where the rail ends in the middle of the sky instead of maybe at the mall. So I think there could be some potential there that it could go somewhere. And then lastly, for Bill 62, I appreciate your introduction of this. I feel like yourself and I have been tacking very closely alongside making sure that legal TVU and STR owners are able to comply with the DPP amendments. I read the testimony from OSTRA, COSTRA. I think there's small tweaks that I will maybe propose to your office, but I do think that it's basically correcting things that were left out, and we want to just continue to make sure that there's clarity in the law, but we're not reopening large conversations about this. So I appreciate the testifiers, but we're actually at the fine-tuning part of this whole process that we've been working on for many years. And those are my comments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Perhaps on Bill 60, we can add on Makana Ali'i to the end of the rail in Kapolei, or a separate bill. Councilmember Kia Aina.
Chair, can I call the Department of Planning and Permitting up relating to Bill 56?
Yes, please proceed.
And Director Takeichi Opuna, can you tell me if your department is has developed or is in the process of developing a position on this bill?
We do have a position on this bill. We don't think it's a good idea, a lot of which is consistent with what Councilmember Tupola mentioned for minor SMAs. Currently, the minor SMA process includes 10 days for us to receive a completed application and then 45 days for processing. So to add another 60 days for neighborhood board review would substantially, I mean, more than double the timeline. And essentially a minor SMA is, you know, for smaller valued and impactful projects. So we don't think that it is necessary for these projects to go to the neighborhood boards. And I mean, we have other issues with it, but that's the core of what our concerns are.
What is the minimum project under minor SMA? Could it be 10,000 or less?
I don't recall the exact
Do you have any
valuation.
staffers here who could answer that question?
No, not.
Okay, so the question before me, of course, is because I do have concerns over this. The question is whether we, even with those concerns, move it to the zoning committee or stop it here. As the one of the co-sponsors of a measure to require neighborhood board consideration for major SMA projects, I do have concerns about this because right now, not just the neighborhood boards, but even the zoning committee is, we have a lot of SMA projects. And I know that you have proposed that we delegate authority away from the city council to your department for single family homes. That is still your position, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and that's something we still will be considering, but so just with that, thank you for your answer. So with that, maybe I could ask the sponsor of the measure, just even given my concerns, would you prefer that it go to committee just to have a dialogue, or? Yes, Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm open to discussion. I mean, just to kind of give the underlying thought process for the measure. I know it's only first reading, but since it's come up, you know, we co-introduced it with a resolution dealing with conditional use permits and also have the reso relating to environmental assessments and review processes. And I think really our goal is to just simplify and avoid litigation and simplify the process for DPP. You know, unlike SMA majors, conditional use permit majors, where DPP'd have to do a public hearing, and you know, you also do the neighborhood board notification. I think this stems from conversation we had with the department last year about trying to get them to put all of the applications online for like CUPs, SMAs, variances, because really what we see is, as was mentioned by North Shore Neighborhood Board Chair, for my community, I think on the SMA major side, less than 3 maybe have been actually opposed by a board. Most of our SMA majors that come through are supported. Many don't even do a hearing at the neighborhood board because it's not requested. But really what I'm trying to get at and was hoping to get at was a notice trigger that gives the community input to allow DPP staff to have the most informed information when they're making our decisions, because I think they're making them in good faith based on the information they have. But oftentimes the community has more, I mean, they know what's going on. And so they don't cause trouble for folks doing legally compliant projects, but I think their frustration is seeing, you know, maybe a detention basin that's really a swimming pool, or seeing, you know, stuff that's, the threshold is triggered or changed or made to seem less than it is, so it doesn't meet the SMA requirement. And so really what we were shooting for, since the bill doesn't even require approval by the board, was just an early trigger point where stakeholders have notice, so then they can be providing information directly to DPP as they make their analysis and their assessment and have the full-fledged, you know, information. So I'm open to discussion on it, but that was the ultimate goal with the measure.
Councilmember Wire, I appreciate that explanation. My concern is that about the private landowner who is simply trying to get a minor SMA, and a lot of these are long-term kama'aina families who don't have the luxury and the wherewithal to how to navigate, and we may potentially be impeding that. Having said that, I am aware of this and your other measure. I will just be voting with reservations, Chair, on this measure. I do believe it should go there and have a more robust discussion, but I'm not likely going to be supporting either this measure or the other measure because I believe it's going to be burdensome on the individual homeowners. There are alternative ways to go after bad actors, but I don't believe that this is the vehicle. So again, just reservations.
No, I appreciate that. Members, it is now almost noon. We're still on page 7. We've got a lot of people waiting to testify. I don't want to curtail anybody from speaking their mind, but again, we're on page 7. So, Councilmember Wire.
I'll just note reservations since it's first reading for Bill 58.
58 and?
Just 58.
Just 58, okay, thank you. Members, any other reservations?
Reservations, Bill 56.
Thank you. Okay, this is not a remote meeting, so we don't have to take a roll call. First reading items on page 7 through 10 of the agenda have passed first reading. Thank you, members. We're now on page 11. Page 11 from the Committee on Budget. Councilmember Okimoto.
I move that Committee Report 260 be adopted and Bill 34, 2024, CD1 as amended pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to real property taxation.
Thank you. I do see we have a number of registered testifiers, starting with Don Sakamoto, followed by Linda Howe and Susan Young. Don Sakamoto, please proceed.
Yes, Chair of Orders, Vice Chair Tapola, and all the council members, Donald Sakamoto again. Yes, I fully support this bill, especially my council member, Esther Cayena. It's time that we have this bill passed because it's very unfortunate for our people. So I fully support this. Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you. Next, we have Linda Howe.
Thank you, Council Chair, Vice Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to testify. I support the intent of this bill, but I oppose this draft for 2 important reasons. The first one is the $1.3 million threshold for Tier 2 is too low. The second reason is that you're making the same mistake that the council made in 2016. There is no adjustment mechanism for inflation. Let me give you an example. My single-family home in Coconut Grove, over a decade since this ordinance was put in place with residential A, my assessment increased from $741,000 to a high of $1.3 million. In 2022, the year my assessment was increased a shocking 31%, my assessment exceeded $1 million, and my property taxes more than doubled to $6,500 a year. This is not how you create affordable housing for long-term local residents. In the past 4 years since crossing the $1 million threshold, I and my tenants have paid an additional $250 per month in property taxes because there was a failure to include an adjustment mechanism for inflation. Please don't make that same mistake again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Suzanne Young. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Tupula, and council members. Suzanne Young, CEO for the Honolulu Board of Realtors. We are in support of Bill 34. We agree that the thresholds need adjustments. Since the bill was first implemented in 2014, property values have increased and we need the adjustments. And like the previous testifier, we do agree that there needs to be some mechanism for regular review.
Thank you. Any questions for the Board of Realtors? Seeing none, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify? Natalie Wasso.
Thank you, Chair. Council members, Natalie Wassa for the record, just some comments. First of all, I oppose the Res A classification. You folks have heard me say that many times. It creates a divide between those who can afford to own a home and live in it versus landlords who provide housing for renters. This bill, however, is a step in the right direction as it increases the threshold from 1 million to 1.3 million. I would ask, though, that you change the effective date from July 1st, 2027 to July 1st, 2026. I think there's enough time for the administration to implement that. And this bill also creates 3 tiers for taxation, which complicates our tax structure, but I understand why you're doing that. I ask that if you haven't already done so, you ask the administration how many homes are in each group, in each tier, because that's important to know. And then, you know, this bill does nothing with respect to the tax rates. So we don't know whether the tier 1 is still going to be at $4 or whether it's going to be at something else. I would ask that when you go ahead and do the budgeting, that you put that first tier back at the regular residential rate of 3.5, assuming that the regular residential rate stays at 3.5. You have created, and I'm not pointing out any individuals here, but past councils have created this policy whereby there is such a great divide between those who can afford to own a home and live in it and those who have to rent. And you see it, I've heard comments made here about rent being either the highest or among the highest in the nation. And these policies are one of the reasons why that is a fact. So I ask that you take a look at this very closely. The other thing is kind of minor. The bill also changes who to that, and it just kind of irks me because people are not that's. So thank you for allowing the testimony. I look forward to the discussion in committee.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Iwaso? Seeing none, thank you. Any other testifiers, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, I urge your support of this measure. Should it pass today, it would have to go back to committee one more time, and all of the concerns that have been raised and recommendations could be more fully discussed. I do know that when we discussed the homeowner's exemption, we wanted a automatic trigger to adjust for inflation, and we did not get support for this. So how I crafted this was a strategic to get the support of the Department of Budget and Fiscal Services. And so that you know what you're voting for, we currently have a 2-tier system for Res A, 1 million and below, 1 million above. For transient vacation units, we have 2 tiers, 800 and below and 800 and above. This creates a 3-tier system primarily for Res A homeowners, many, including one of my constituents who testified, where their home values for their residential A has gone above $1 million, and they're taxed at $11.40 as opposed to $4. Is this perfect? No, it's not. I would like to raise it higher, but the bottom line is I need the support of the Department of Budget and Fiscal Services. So the tiers are up to 1.3 million. The second tier for Res A is 1.3 million to 3.5. Tier 3 is 3.5 to and above. And for the transient vacation units, because many of them are apartments, or they're different than single-family homes, the Tier 1 is up to 900,000. Tier 2 is 900,000 to 2 million, and Tier 3 is 2 million and above. Again, I believe that this is a good first step, and there will be another round of hearings, and I believe that this is going to address a lot of concerns. I know for my district where a lot of home values have skyrocketed past $1 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tupola.
Yeah, in support, in 2014, when RESA was created, it was intended to target high-value homes, non-owner occupied, and because the median price of homes is now over $1 million on our island, unfortunately, many generational homes, very modest homes, are now swept into the Res A category. I do also appreciate the introducer's intent with the TVUs because not every legal TVU is a luxury home. Many of them are small condos on the North Shore in Colina, and so I think it's fair. We want owners to legally operate and register in the resort areas. So we've been talking about this for some years in the council. I think, as Ms. Iwasa said, this is a step in the right direction. So in support. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair. In committee, I asked the Budget and Fiscal Services folks how the numbers, the original numbers of $1 million, where that was the threshold for the tiers, and now where the $1.3 million threshold for the tiers came from. I hope that in committee we can really dive into exactly what that means. How many properties, when we set this up, fell above that 1 million threshold, and how many now are above 1.3 million? I hear really a desire to have some kind of mechanism that tracks the increased value over time. But if we don't identify the percentile of where 1.3 million falls, we're never going to be able in the future to come back and say, well, this is kind of where the threshold is now. We're just going to be taking it based on the average, but not recognizing that for these very high tiers, their valuations may actually be changing in a different way than the overall average. And I want to make sure that if we are going to be making important decisions about the city's budgetary needs as well as our tax policy, that we have as much data as possible. With regard to the transient vacation tiers, I understand why there's a desire to change it to 3 tiers, and frankly, I agree that it should be changed to 3 tiers, but I do want to also be mindful of the fact that these transient vacation units should be, in my opinion, should be long-term housing for local folks. And if we're going to give them a tax break, as we're proposing to do here by raising the tier, I think we should have a much more robust conversation about how we get these units back into the pool so local people can live in them, not transient vacation tourists.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR 260 has been adopted, and Bill 34, 2024, CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the bottom of page 11, Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. I move that Committee Report 261 be adopted and Bill 62, 2024, CD1 as amended pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to motor vehicle registration.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have one person registered to testify, Mr. Shelby, billionaire.
Please proceed.
Hello, my kako, Pikachu, Shelby, billionaire back. I'm in support of this bill. We ran it through, and it does make sense, but I do want to address these issues because we're from Hawaii. A lot of people come through the military. They don't pay state income tax from Florida. Their registration is $25 a car. I'd rather move to Florida with my license because it's cheaper to live there. Tennessee is cheaper. So hopefully you guys can address these issues, because if it's cheaper to live in Tennessee, Florida, the younger generation is going to move out, and that's what I'm worried about, the brain drain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? Bill 62.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members were in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. I want to thank the department for continuously working with my office. The department cited 46,326 veterans aged 65 and older. However, the figure they stated was a statewide figure, not the island of Oahu. The most recent census estimates show that we're around 29,000 veterans aged 65 and older, and that does not include just veterans who drive, which could be less than the 29,000. So I do believe that the fiscal impact is less than what was stated by the department. I'm guesstimating around 580,000 a year, and in reality might be less than that. I think it's important as well that we remember that when we say the word veteran, it doesn't mean non-resident. Many veterans, in fact, the resident I had in my district who testified about this bill in Hawaiian is a native Hawaiian that's a veteran that served. And these are not just any seniors. These are people who have given their lives, and some people who have worn the uniform, been injured. And so I want to thank my co-sponsor, Councilmember Tolba, and especially for his efforts making us a Purple Heart City. I think that this is in line with the efforts that we have done thus far. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR 261 has been adopted and Bill 62, 2024, CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the top of page 12, Councilmember Okimoto.
Chair, I move that Committee Report 265 be adopted and Bill 54, CD1 as amended pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to public transit.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have both in-person and remote testifiers.
No testifiers?
We have both remote and in-person,
Oh,
four
okay,
persons.
let's
yeah.
start with in-person. I believe we have Shelby Billionaire. Please proceed.
Chihu, once again, I feel so popular, get to be on TV again to tell you how I really feel, but you guys are going to vote anyway, so I'm no to this. When you actually look at the bill, you click on the button, this little handout does not help you. You have to click it, and you're actually going to see the prices go up. Currently, it's $3 to catch the bus here, $3 back. That's $6 for me to come to testify you, get my 1 minute of fame. But now you're going to charge 50 cents up. You're going to start raping and robbing from the people. Some people are trying to pull out quarters just to come here, and you're going to get less testifiers from Waianae. More people would be on Zoom, and time's running out. We actually have to head to the Honolulu Police Commissioner, so I was going to leave you guys with this. I want to support Resolution 25-208 for transferring of funds, and also want to support the Resolution 25-222 for the HPD as well. And I'm going to oppose this bill, but I'm sure you guys will vote the way you want. And I also want to support Bill 51 because we have to roll. So thank you very much. I want to close out with this. For some reason, the police commissioners are weary of Andrew Topola. I can tell it, I can see it, because when it says on this resolution about the funds, because I'm going to go and film them again today after this meeting, and your name is brought up, and I do want to support what you guys are writing on 25-222 to go through the vetting process. Me and Mr. Robert Santilli was there the whole time, the last month, the last 2 weeks. I know exactly how much budget they got. I know how much offers they have. So I look forward to seeing you all guys next month. Chihu, aloha.
Thank you. Next, we have Brian Mick.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Waters and council members. My name is Brian Mick. I'm here on behalf of the Disability and Communication Access Board and our Executive Director, Kirby Shaw. We are in opposition to this bill as currently drafted. I would like to say that we are happy that there are no proposed changes to the low-income fare for handy van riders. That was something we advocated a lot several years ago and was meant to be a tool for any future increases to the rate as this bill does currently propose. We do have two concerns, though, that was mentioned in our testimony, so I'll just briefly cover them. One is that, and this apparently was an oversight in the original drafting of the bill, but the table is collapsed into one reduced fare, and but for some reason in the definition of who's eligible for this reduced fare, the people with Medicare card holders was omitted. So we would like to see that added back in, which I believe the department had indicated they also supported. We're also concerned with the changes to the current policy of waiving the fare for a personal care attendant who is accompanying a person with a disability and providing that service. Federal law does require the waiver on paratransit, but not on the bus as indicated. But I have not seen any sort of numbers or guesstimates as to how big a problem it was as far as people claiming to be a PCA when they weren't. But I think that the financial harm that could result to people who require the services of the PCAs is great. So we'd like to see that continued to be waived. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mick. Any questions for Brian Mick? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Next, we have Kaili Swan, followed by Donald Sakamoto.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. I oppose Bill 54 because I'm a person with disability who has a personal care attendant who rides for free with me on the bus, the rail, and the handy van every weekend. Bill 54 changes that and will have PCA pay for the ride. If PCA pays cash, you have to pay $325 instead of $3. Therefore, I oppose Bill 54. Please contact me if you have any questions. Thank you for allowing me to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Don Sakamoto.
Good afternoon, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Tabola, and the rest of the council member. Donald Sakamoto, a long-time advocate for paratransit hand advance bus and Portuguese Skyline. I oppose this bill as stated by Brian Mick. The same sentiments for the personal care attendant to be paid is unjust. We need to have people to help the disabled as well as the Medicare. But the thing is, I testified on August 19 at the Budget Committee regarding the 25-cent surcharge. You know, a lot of people can't put too much money on their HOLO card. They need the money to buy certain types of food or whatever. And then Director John Nouchi, Deputy Director, said, oh, we can use credit card, debit card. You know that credit cards, there's a charge at certain establishments that you have to pay because the establishment won't pay for that. And, you know, if somebody gets hacked, like I got hacked on my credit card, I had to wait like a couple of weeks, a week to get a new card. And it'd be a burden for us to use credit card. And right now we don't have a wallet system where you can use your smartphone to have your credit card to tap it like I did in Washington, D.C. and the Silver Line a few years ago when I was there in D.C. So I oppose that if they're not going to change the wording of the PCA and the other things that Brian Mick and I brought up, then I really oppose this bill. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Sakamoto. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. I understand that we are at second reading. I do have to note that I did want to go to the Committee on Budget with possible amendments. Me and my team has been trying to draw out how I would like to see the structure look like, because I do feel that the increases have been a concern that has been brought up to my attention by my constituents since those discussions at the Rate Commission. It is too high. You know, whether you are a homeowner or you rent, if you take the bus, these will definitely just impact you overall. And so they've been bringing up concerns relating to the youth, the increase in youth, as well as to the annual pass. I will just vote with reservations for now because I know that I don't have anything prepared regarding amendments, but if it comes down to it, I would be voting no at the end if there's great increases to the fare structure. I do have concerns as it relates to the personal attendance, but as well as the how the fares would then impact the adult fees. We do see that you know, a lot of the students at schools are utilizing the buses, but with not personal attendants, but adults, and it's affecting the teachers and faculty at Department of Education as well. And we've been hearing that over the course of 4 or 5 years now. And so I think that it will further hinder people utilizing the bus for not just school activities, but just in general. With that, I just wanted to note my reservations. Although I do want to go no, I think that we should just continue the discussion in committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. In support, I do remember, you know, back in 2021, we discussed like raising the rates and we thought it was a bad time. We were coming out of COVID, so we decided to table this whole discussion. And I think the main reason was, of course, so that we could support while people come out of the pandemic, but also, you know, Director Morton was concerned that we need to make the system sustainable, meaning that we can't continuously run it to the point where we're subsidizing so much. And I do want to congratulate him and commend him for trying to find as much federal funds, putting together an awesome Vision Zero plan so that we could even garner more federal funds to help our public transportation system. So I do think that the Rate Commission's trying to find the middle ground has been reasonable. I think if there are minor tweaks, that's good. I love what Mr. Sakamoto said as well. If we could just load our cards on our phones like how we do for Apple Pay and whatever, I think it'd be great. I continuously have difficulty with holo cards and helping our homeless. So I appreciate DTS's improvements. I do think that we want to make sure that the bus is sustainable and that we're able to continue to fund it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dos Santos Dam.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be voting no on this measure. And as somebody that rides the bus and Skyline, at least the bus almost each and every day, you know, I have a chance to look around and look at the folks who are on that bus with me. And for our youth, for our seniors, for those with disabilities, for whom this bill would raise their bus fares, I don't think I can get on the bus and sit there and say, well, I'm here to raise your fares. And so I wanted to address a few things. First of all, for anyone watching at home, if you go to holocard.net, you can actually use that system to add money from your bank account or credit card or debit card to your Holo card. It's a little clunky, but it works. You can also do it at any 7-Eleven Times, ABC store, any other locations. With regard to this notion that that we constantly have to be raising fares to make the system sustainable, the bus and our entire public transit system relies heavily, as does every other system in the country, on fairly large subsidies. And what we're proposing here is literally a drop in the bucket. I think the calculation comes out to about 1.5% of what that subsidy would be. That's, in the big scheme of things, a drop in the bucket. But who it affects is, again, our youth, our seniors, and those with disabilities, for whom their fares go up by 25 cents each time they use it. For everybody who uses a monthly card or gets their fare cap, that's $10 a month, that's $120 a year that they're gonna have to pay more. Further on this agenda, I think we have some measure that's gonna reduce everybody's property tax rates by $70 a year. But at the same time, we're here to raise everybody's bus fares who uses the bus to get around by $120 a year. And for a family of 2 riders, it's $240 a year, and add on kids. And so I have some pretty strong concerns about this. Now I'll pivot to one other point in this bill. When it comes to the low-income fare program that the city set up, we set aside $1.5 million a year for the low-income fare program. How much of that has actually been utilized by low-income fare folks? How many people have applied? As of July 2025, we've had 1,097 people apply for this program. That is very, very small compared to the number of people that are eligible. I think we need to go out and engage with the public and make sure that they know that they're eligible, that they can utilize this, and that we as a council are looking out for them. If you look at the math on the low-income fare program, of the people that have applied right now, only about 38% of that program is utilized. We can be doing a whole lot better for our low-income population, 30% AMI and below, who rely on the bus to get to their jobs, to doctor's appointments, to take their kids to school. I think we can do a whole lot better. And I think that during the next committee hearing, I would implore DTS as well as you know, everybody here to get our heads together and figure out what we can really do to make the bus more accessible to folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilmember Tolba.
Thank you, Chair. I will be voting no also, with lots of concerns from constituents as well. I echo the concerns from Councilmember Los Santos Dam. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. And, you know, I share a lot of the concerns mentioned today just about the increase, particularly, you know, understanding there's a lot of city services that we provide to the community that are, you know, paid for through real property tax. You know, our parks, I think, are a great example. But in terms of public transportation, I mean, if you can't get to your doctor, you can't get to, you know, meaningful medical care, access to food, you could die. So I do think like access to public transportation is very important. I do understand we may have to charge nominal prices, but you know, I think my main concern is just the limitation to extremely low incomes. That's like 30% AMI, and so I think if we're going to have a reduced fare program, we have to contemplate who's actually probably most likely relying on public transportation, going to a job, or maybe the needs in their daily life. And so I think it'd be more appropriate to be, you know, maybe around 60 at least, but I would think even upwards of 80% or higher. But just wanted to note that. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, noting the objections of Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, Tolba, reservations from Cordero and myself. Any other reservations? Councilmember Wire?
Objection.
Reservations? Objection? No vote for Councilmember Wire. Thank you. CR 265 has been adopted and Bill 54. CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the bottom of page 12 from the Committee on Housing, Homelessness and Parks, Councilmember Tupola.
I move the committee report 270 be adopted and Bill 20 pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Tupola for the explanation.
Relating to funds.
Thank you. I believe we have Suzanne Young from the Realtors here to testify in person on Bill 20.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Suzanne Young, CEO for the Honolulu Board of Realtors. Hawaii has one of the lowest available down payment assistance programs, which just doesn't make sense when our housing costs are so high. So barriers to housing not only are inventory or wages, but it's that down payment assistance. We've been out in the community, and when you talk to people who are prospective home owners, their rent is equal to or more than what a mortgage would be, but they can't even step into the conversation because they lack any savings. So we totally support this bill. We're willing to work with the administration to make it work. We need to create as many opportunities to help renters and people who live with their parents be able to become homeowners on their own. So
thank you. Members, any questions for the Board of Realtors? Seeing none, thank you so much. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? Natalie Wasso.
Thank you, Chair. Natalie Wassa for the record. Just comments. As somebody who would potentially qualify for this, I very much support the intent. However, as we saw with the business grants for businesses that were impacted by rail, you know, that was put into place, and it was made law, but businesses couldn't apply. The administration didn't do their end of it, and as it turned out, those grants were really kind of manini when you look at the grand scheme of the cost of those businesses and the impact on rail. So my concern with this is that this would end up being the same type of thing. It does require annual appropriations, and I assume that would come from the operating budget. And there are already a lot of demands on the operating budget, as you all know. So I think this may not be worth the administrative burden, but you know, I ask you to consider that our policies that we have, like the residential A, for instance, impact potential buyers, because what happens is if there's a residential A property, which now could be $1 million, right? They are paying the higher rates, and those potential buyers have to make sure that they have enough money to cover the prorated tax for the rest of the fiscal year, which is already several $1,000s higher than they would have to pay if they had the homeowner's exemption. And then if the timing isn't quite right, so that they can't apply for the homeowner's exemption by that September 30th date or September 1st, whichever it is, they have to pay that residential rate for another full year. And this is one of the things that makes it very difficult for new owners to purchase a home. Even if the property is not in residential A, there's still that disparity out there with respect to the homeowner's exemption of $140,000. You're looking at putting it higher now. That increases the tax. So, you know, these other policies are impacting the ability for people to purchase homes. One thing I do ask you folks to look at, and because I don't understand exactly how this would be implemented here, but is it possible to get some kind of a renter to buy program in place? And you may recall that Vicky Cayetano ran on that platform. I don't know, that might be something that is at the state level, but I think that that would be something that would be very worthwhile to at least have a full discussion on. So those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on Bill 20? Seeing none, we're in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. This measure establishes first-time home buyer loan assistance revolving fund, which would provide loans to help with down payment or closing costs. Two biggest hurdles for families trying to purchase their first home. The first testifier hit the nail on the head by saying that many people can actually pay the same amount in rent as they could as a mortgage, but do not have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to put down as a down payment. Since Bill 20 was first introduced, HHFDC has adopted its own payment assistance program, which will be implemented in November. To ensure the city's program is not duplicative, we will be making amendments through a CD so that Bill 20 functions as a gap filler, serving families who may not qualify under the state's stricter rules, but still need help securing a home. The structure of this bill remains sustainable. The fund will be seeded by general fund, but repayments of principal and interest will recycle back into the program, building a lasting pool of resources for future home buyers and not an annual appropriation. At its heart, this measure is about keeping local families here in Hawaii. And for those reasons, I introduced it and I'll keep working on it. Thank you, Chair.
Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Councilmember Okimoto.
Reservations, Chair.
Okay. Any other objections or reservations? Noting that reservations of Councilmember Okimoto, CR 270, has been adopted and Bill 20 has passed second reading. Moving to the top of page 13, Councilmember Tupola.
I move that Committee Report 271 be adopted and Bill 39 pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Tupola for the explanation.
Relating to affordable rental housing.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Okay, members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR 271 has been adopted and Bill 39 has passed second reading. Moving to the bottom of page 13 from the Committee on Infrastructure, Transportation and Technology, Councilmember Cordero.
I move that Committee Report CR 282 be adopted and Bill 52 pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Cordero for the explanation.
This relates to the maintenance of streams and other bodies of water.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
I believe Ms. Iwasa wanting to testify? No? Okay. No. Stand corrected.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting none, CR 282 has been adopted and Bill 52 has passed second reading. Members, it's now 12:30. Shall we push on or take a break?
I think we should push on.
Thank you. Okay, members, top of page 14 from the Committee on Zoning and Planning, Councilmember Kia Aina.
I move that Committee Report 295 be adopted and Bill 51 CD1 is amended past second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Kia Aina for the explanation.
This bill relates to improvement of districts.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, we have a number of registered testifiers, starting with Sandra Pohl. Aloha, welcome. Followed by Eve Kwok.
My name is Sandra Pohl, and I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Arts Center. Our nonprofit has been in the neighborhood for 24 years, actively working to revitalize downtown Chinatown. The Downtown Arts Center is actually 5 years old this year, and we are in support of the the bill. Yeah. Anyway, it's a really good thing. It will give us the opportunity to actually continue our work in the downtown area, where we started the Arts District, and we continue to do that. This gives us the opportunity as a community from Nuuanu Avenue to Richard Street to be able to do the same thing, making our neighborhood more viable, presentable, and attractive for new businesses and pedestrians wanting to come to our neighborhood because it's so walkable and fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Eve Kwok, followed by Trevor Abarzua.
Mr. Chair, both are not logged on.
Okay. Is Andrew Pereira available? Followed by Tony Wong Kam. Or we could go with you. Please proceed.
Aloha City Council members. Mahalo for your tireless commitments to a tremendous work for keep our communities clean and safe. Your leadership is really helping shaping a brighter future for all of us. As property owners of Chinatown and a part of the City Council District 6, I wholeheartedly support Bill 51 and the establishment of Downtown Honolulu Business Improvement District, BID. The proposed enhancement for safety, cleanliness, and the vitality of not just necessary, they are urgent, meaningful steps towards to healthy and prosperity of our shared community. But let me be clear, downtown and Chinatown are not simply neighbors. They are inseparable two parts of the same living heartbeat. The Chinese idiom says, 唇寒齿亡. If the lifts are gone, the teeth will be cold. Capture this reality perfectly. When downtown thrives, Chinatown breathes easier. When downtown suffers, Chinatown shares the same pain. Chinatown continues to wrestle with serious challenges, especially homelessness. Too often, when improvements are made in downtown, the homeless population is displaced into Chinatown, overwhelming our streets and our small businesses. This cycle, left unchecked, inevitably reversed and created new burdens to downtown as well. It's time to break the cycle. Now, this is why I urge you to not only pass the Bill 51, but also move the vision of encourage to expand the BID to include Chinatown, ideally within next year. Chinatown involved with younger, forward-thinking investors, tenants, entrepreneurs like myself, and who are committed to revitalizations. I see daily how downtown and Chinatown depends on each other through commerce, culture, restaurants, bars, and the vibrant lives. This is a brother and sister relationship bound together by shared destiny. By including Chinatown, we can achieve a far greater result. Using one stone kill two birds, guys. Ensure that both downtown and Chinatown rise together as one unified community. Thank you, aloha, appreciate.
Thank you. Next, we have Andrew Pereira, followed by Chu Lan Schubert Kwok.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Council. Andrew Pereira, Director of Public Affairs for Pacific Resource Partnership. PRP stands in strong support of Bill 51. PRP has been a tenant of the ALOHA Corporate Tower since 2011. And since that time, we've seen the ebbs and flows of the condition of downtown Honolulu. I think right now, with the help of the Blangiardi administration and the Caldwell administration preceding that, we're really on an upswing right now. However, this business improvement district, I think, will allow us to capitalize even more on the momentum that's been made. We've seen tremendous investment just next door to ALOHA Corporate Tower. We have the new AC Hotel. And it's really cool to see tourists like walking around downtown and going into Chinatown. And then we have the investment made by Avalon Group and Christine Camp. And so I think it's wise for us to approve this business improvement district to see that those investments don't go to waste and that we capitalize on future investments. So again, PRP stands in strong support of Bill 51, and we urge the council in your wisdom to move it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Chulan Schubert Kwok, followed by Kevin Crummy.
Good afternoon, Chair, council members. Thank you so much for listening to Bill 51. We support the intent of Bill 51. What is good for downtown is good for Honolulu and all of us. But I'm worried about a couple things. One of them was we did not get enough notice. So those one who sent in supporting testimony are mostly downtown people or have interest in downtown. But very few in Chinatown, except a few people like me, Abe, are more into understanding the bill, and I'm on the neighborhood board, so we know more about it. So when we talk to our neighbors and they don't know about this bill because it hasn't been publicized enough. So there's lack of public hearing is one objection. Second objection is the rush, so that Chinatown's problems, which are interlinked with downtown, are not considered. We're not separate, we're Siamese twins. So we want to support downtown to prosper, but downtown needs to support Chinatown because we are separated by 9 streets from River to Richard, Nimitz to Beretania. Splitting us in 2 doesn't make sense because with more property owners joining, because who doesn't want cleaner street, healthier market, prosperity, and less homeless that we, us living on our street, that we can help together. So we want the same things. So don't split us into, favorite child, stepchild. We want this together. So give us some time. We want to give you some time to establish downtown, but include us in phase 2, because we have property owners who want to join. And a larger BID, downtown Chinatown, including in District 6, will give us a pool of bigger money and tax dollars that you assess that can do both sides good, and both are historic districts. We have tourists going to downtown, Capital District, coming to Chinatown and Aves, Monica Marketplace, and the beef up security that he paid for is improving Chinatown so much. We've been working very hard in Chinatown. We are establishing the Chinatown security team, working with police to train us, and our councilman is aware of that. And we're cleaning our sidewalk, supplementing what the police are doing for us, just like BID is trying to do. But we don't have the big bucks right now, and there was not enough time to organize to include us. So we understand the urgency, we want to help it, but you have to remember not to exclude us so that we will be, having more problems with the migration from downtown to Chinatown. And we are already ill-equipped to help that. So we would ask that in the interim, that the money coming from BID on the $1.9 million, portion of it should help Chinatown with security and cleanup. That is good for tourists on both sides, good for our bus riders, good to everybody. Downtown eats in Chinatown. Chinatown buys mortgages, credit cards, and insurance in downtown. So we are together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Kevin Crummy, followed by Lance Roylo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Crummy. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at Douglas Emmett, and I'm here to respectfully express our opposition to Bill 51, which seeks to expand the 4th Street Mall Business Improvement District. While we have a shared goal of creating a cleaner and safer downtown, we do not believe expanding the 4th Street Mall bid is the most effective approach. When the 4th Street Mall bid was created in 2002, its purpose was to combat severe issues like drug use, drug sales, loitering, assault, petty crime, sanitation, and weirdly, the open contempt for authority. Despite its current budget of $535,000, the issues it was created to solve are still highly visible to anyone walking down the mall. It would be irresponsible to expand this model when it is not proven to be effective in its current district. We do at Douglas Emmett believe that a bid strength is providing enhanced services like trash removal, graffiti cleanup, and power washing. However, meaningful reductions in homelessness and crime require expertise and authorities of government-led services and the police department. A bid simply cannot solve these monumental social issues alone. In fact, any effort by bid security to remove unhoused individuals from downtown will only shift the problem to Chinatown, as the previous speaker expressed, unless the city provides additional resources to get people into shelter. We are concerned that this expansion is being fast-tracked to meet an October 1st real property tax assessment deadline. A truly successful program will take the time needed to build consensus and assure that all voices are heard, which will lead to a stronger and more sustainable bid effort. We respectfully request that you send Bill 51 back to committee for further discussion to ensure that all voices are heard and we can truly build a successful program together. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Lance Roylo, followed by Kendrick Chang.
Mr. Chair, Lance Roylo is not logged on.
Okay, is Kendrick Chang available?
Good afternoon, Council Chair Waters, Council members. Kendrick Chang testifying in my personal capacity regarding Bill 51. I stand in my written testimony support and just wanted to add a few brief points. I understand, there is a concern that the cost of this is going to impact our tenants. The fact of the matter is, downtown is struggling, our retail tenants are struggling. And, speaking with a familial connection for 5 generations to an area which right now, arguably, unfortunately, my family's probably the smallest landowner in the district. We stand in support because we want to see downtown revitalized so that our tenants have an opportunity to bring back business and bring back commerce to our community. The other comment I just wanted to raise briefly is I understand some of the suggestions about expanding this downtown premium district to include Chinatown, and I believe that appropriate discussion should be done after this bill passes. The structure of the Chinatown landowners in the community, we need to have conversations within the Chinatown community separately. So I know there has been a few comments that's been raised to add Chinatown in this current juncture, but I believe that conversation should continue afterwards. So therefore, the bill in its current state should pass as is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Next, we have Nicholas Ali, followed by Angela Melody Young.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicholas Ali, and I'll be testifying in favor of Bill 51. I'm actually working from home today, listening to this in the background, but I actually live in the city. I have an office job in the city, and it's just a short walk to me, for me to the office. But the reason that I didn't go in today is because it is just so rough and so dirty outside, and it feels unsafe for me on my walks to and from the office and when I step out for lunch. And there's a lot of us that feel uncomfortable downtown outside of the office for these reasons. Creating the business improvement district would be a big win for a lot of people who go to work every day, coming in from all of your districts, not just the ones like me who live here. I really believe it's a choice for things to be the way that it is, and I really hope that we make the right choice on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Melody Young, followed by Edmond D. Ascoli.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, testifying on behalf of peers. And so I got to attend of the hearing at the pickleball court at the old Walmart, and it's very interesting as a process to get to know the community and then the various businesses that make up the downtown district, from like real estate companies to fashion companies and artists, musicians. I think revitalizing the downtown district and then creating the special district zone is very important to sustaining the businesses. So I agree with some of the other testifiers about Chinatown that it should be included because of a lot of the contributions from Chinatown. And as an Asian American, I think a lot of our work, for example, in commerce and the business marketplace, and also the culture and the arts within the Chinese people, thousands of years of history of dynasties that Chinese Chamber of Commerce really contributes to the community. And Chinatown takes up large parcels of the community near downtown. And so, you know, we were all at the community event with the Narcissus Queens and also a few of the House of Representatives and the Senator and the council member with the Hawaiian Electric Partnership with the county, the mayor's office, the administration team, cleaning up with Clean Water Heroes and the Honolulu Police Department. So the Chinese community played like a significant role in organizing. And so I think what the proposed amendment should be then, and also Tyler was there when I asked the guy from Chinese Chamber of Commerce. The guy from Chinese Chamber of Commerce was like, yeah, we should include Chinatown. So the proposed amendment would then say parcels of land to be included in the implementation of this ordinance for the special improvement district zone can be added to the list by a due process of confirmation by the board members for flexibility that when you decide to include Chinatown, that it can be included, right? Without having to go through another series of ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Eddie Ascoli, followed by Mark Anthony Clemente.
Hello, Councilman, council members. I'm in support of this BID, not because we necessarily want it, but we need it. It's been a struggle downtown. My family owns a building on the corner of ALOHA and Merchant Street. It's a historic building that we restored over the past 9 years. And we've seen difficulties not only with businesses, because we have residents on the second floor and in the middle of the night where there's banging on the doors and such. So security is really important for us. And in terms of security, I feel as though we really should be looking at making the sit and lie bill there 24/7. If we want people to not only work downtown, but to live downtown. That's important. Part of the sanitation problem is because we don't have security 24/7. I think another problem with downtown, which maybe the city can work with the BID on to help incentivize some of the property owners, the larger property owners that have parking structures, is we have no affordable parking downtown. I believe there's only one city subsidized parking in this, which is being called the BID downtown, which is Ali'i Place. Other than that, you know, not many people are going to come during the day spending $6 to $8 an hour. The BID is not the end of the solution; it's the beginning of a solution. I think there's an urgency that we do get it done quickly because, you know, quite frankly, businesses are hanging on. Every time you hear a business close or every time you hear some type of incident that kind of gets blown out of proportion for the district, there's less people coming downtown. As you heard by that testifier, he's working from home. That's one less customer going to the restaurant that's in our building. So I think as far as adding Chinatown, I totally agree with that. But I think at this point, if it delays executing this BID as soon as possible, add it when we can, and also when we get more experience. A BID is not a new concept for us. Waikiki has had it. They have some success, and I think we're not going into uncharted territory here. So I am in support of this, moving it along as quick as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mark Anthony Clemente. Not present? Okay, thank you. Members, that's all I have, or Mr. Clerk, that's all I have for registered testifiers. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify on this matter? Please come forward.
Aloha, council members, Council Minister Dos Santo Tam. My name is Ed Karipsky. I am the Executive Director of the 4th Street Mall Business Improvement District. And I think one thing we're losing sight of here is downtown is experiencing a transition to more residential. So as we're going more residential, we're going to have more people in at different times of the day. And this is why we need more security at different times of the day, more sanitation different times of the day. And probably the Business Improvement District is probably the best mechanism to achieve a safer, cleaner environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come forward.
Hello, council members. Robbie Kelly, here both personally and on behalf of Avalon Development. Here to express our strong support for this bill, and we urge you to pass it quickly. You know, I grew up here in Honolulu. This has been my home, and it always will be my home. I have worked my entire life working in downtown Honolulu, well, my entire adult life, professional life. And you know, I'm really optimistic for our future. Right now, there's so much good things happening in downtown. And we have HPU relocating, the rail coming downtown, AC Marriott Hotel opening. There's a lot of good things and coming, but it's being overshadowed by these, you know, minor, well, I shouldn't say minor, but it's being overshadowed by these issues of crime and cleanliness, which are very solvable, fixable issues. And we believe that this downtown business improvement district, while it may not be the total solution, is an important piece of that, both to provide the security, the power washing, but perhaps more importantly, also to provide a community organization to advocate on behalf of the downtown community, to advocate for more police services, to organize community events, and you know, to be that glue that really helps bind us all together and, you know, bring us into a new era of prosperity for the downtown district. So thank you for your consideration of this bill, and I hope you pass it today. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is McKinley, and I'm a recent grad working downtown. Downtown faces real challenges, and years of public awareness and scattered initiatives haven't delivered the improvements we need. I strongly support Bill 51. A BID is about shared responsibility and strategic investment. It brings stakeholders together to fund essential services like cleaning and security that often fall through the cracks when left solely to government agencies. Services that generate broad benefits that help everyone, not just property owners. Expanding the 4th Street BID brings more resources and operational efficiency. While no one said the current bid was perfect, lessons from it and the Waikiki bid can guide this larger district. Expansion doesn't replace or dilute the original bid, it enhances it by integrating services across the district and enabling more consistent, visible improvements. It is not a cure-all for all the district's challenges, nor is it meant to directly solve systemic social issues like homelessness or crime, or replace government services, but it is a practical, proven, collaborative framework that can deliver visible, meaningful improvements. Let's stop admiring the problems and take a step towards solving them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to testify?
Mr. Chair, we have Tony Wong Cam standing by remotely.
Okay, please proceed.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Tony Wong Cam. I'm here to testify in an official capacity as a small business owner here on 4th Street Mall. We run the Yifang Fruit Tea, a bubble tea shop on 4th Street Mall, and I'm here to support the passing of the Bill 51 in the Business Improvement District. Just to share some insight, we opened our doors in 2022, and like I said in my written testimony, a lot of people questioned our decision, and it's been a wonderful experience working with our landlords, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, Ed of the 4th Street Mall District, to really improve the area. And we've seen an increase in foot traffic, but I believe that more needs to be done to help the overall downtown community. You know, talking to my fellow business owners here in downtown at 4th Street Mall, the security helps and the cleanliness and other things will help bring much needed foot traffic to help these small mom and pop businesses that, yeah, they may not know what's going on, but I think that in my conversations, they are supportive of anything that helps improve their overall business, whether it's your favorite coffee shop here. We have great coffee shops, we have great restaurants, and I really applaud the efforts of the initial team that put together the Business Improvement District. And while I do believe that it should be expanded, I think much needs to be done to or we need to work quickly to really improve the downtown area before it becomes too late and we have more small businesses struggling.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Okay, we're in discussion, members. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Well, thank you, Chair, and thank you, everyone, for listening to the voluminous testimony on this issue. As we know, downtown is at a crossroads. We have, after the pandemic, a lot of workers working from home remotely and fewer folks coming downtown to support the businesses, the retail, and all the other activities that make our downtown really special. The downtown bid is, I want to commend the folks that have been working on this for almost a year now. And this is really a proposal that's one piece among many different pieces that we as the council have been working on. I want to thank all of you for working on things like the Island-wide Parades Bill, which gives more opportunity for events in downtown, making sidewalk dining permanent, working on facilitating office to residential conversions. All of these pieces coming together are going to help to revitalize this area, and it really is one of our economic drivers for the island. And so I think that as this moves forward, we're going to keep working on issues. For the Chinatown folks here, I want to say once this is through, we can start the conversation of how we do something like this in Chinatown and make sure that the issues Chinatown faces is something that the private businesses as well as the residents and government can work together on a continued basis to solve. I think a bid in Chinatown would be a great idea, but we need to get this done first. And I look forward to working on it over the next several weeks as it moves through the process. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I wanted to make a comment because the testifier for Douglas Emmett came with, some strong verbiage of opposition. And, as someone who strongly supports this measure and looking at his arguments, it actually strengthened my support of the measure moving forward. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, it is not irresponsible for this district to expand upon the current BID. I think it's actually going to help them because you see the diversity of business groups and community groups galvanizing. Second, Chinatown addition, Chulan, I asked the managing director when it first came up. So of course, we're not going to forget you, but I do agree that we need to move this measure forward and consider Chinatown after. And lastly, with regard to the process, this process is not being fast-tracked. No one is pressuring me as the zoning chair to move this forward. In fact, I would have moved it forward in July, but for the fact that we didn't make the requisite time frame to schedule it for a public meeting before the full council. So we're not moving this back to committee because the fact is the legislative process allows us, should it move forward today, to move to another round of hearings. So I highly suggest that if Douglas Emmett doesn't feel that they're part of the process, then maybe follow the zoning hearings, because this has been going on for several months. So lastly, I just want to announce for those who are interested, if it goes through to the committee, it will be on Tuesday, September 23rd at 1 p.m. And the reason for that is I'm moving it from Thursday. Why? So we can have the requisite time to file a committee report to agendize it for an October 1st hearing. So thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make that clear, because this is not we're not being pressured by anybody's time frame. We're doing it because it is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, this calls for a roll call. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Yes.
Councilmember Kiaina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 295 has been adopted and Bill 51, CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the bottom of page 14 from the Committee on Government Efficiency and Customer Services, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair. I move that Committee Report 300 be adopted and Bill 5, CD1 pass second reading as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam for the explanation.
This relates to animal recovery.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Ms. Iwasa.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Natalie Wassa, for the record. Just some comments, and I apologize, I haven't seen the committee hearing on this, but I wanted to put out there, we have this huge problem with chickens, and first of all, I want to make sure that this would be covering that, but also, we have animal sanctuaries, typically nonprofit organizations, and I think they're in Councilmember Wire's district, that, can help with this situation, so I asked the city to do that. The other thing is, anytime we implement a new or mandate a new program, it costs money. So one of the things I feel is important when you go back into committee is to get the estimated cost of this program. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank Committee Chair for listing this, hearing it, and helping me to move this along. This is actually a very old part of the law. We've always had pound master written into the revised ordinances of Honolulu, but it was previously outdated prices and amounts. So this is actually updating it to give the Customer Services Division the autonomy to set administrative rules, and it is only for farm animals, cattle, goats, sheep, so not the animals that are part of the Humane Society contract, which would be cats, dogs, chickens. I do think that for my district, it's very much appreciated. In 2021 and 2015, we had cattle running across the road, and unfortunately, we didn't have a pound master, so the animals were shot. And that's a lot of money, that's a lot of people's investment, so we'd rather there be a pound master, especially in rural areas where we just need to make sure that they have a place to go, somebody that can return it. So again, appreciate the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kiaina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Aye. Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 300 has been adopted and Bill 5 CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the top of page 15, third reading items. From the Committee on Budget, Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. I move that Committee Report 262 be adopted and Bill 41, CD1 as amended pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to permit fees.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Any discussion, members? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kiaina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 262 has been adopted and Bill 41, CD1 has passed third reading. Councilmember Okimoto.
I move that Committee Report 263 be adopted and Bill 49 pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to real property taxation.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, we have one registered testifier, Ms. Iwasa.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Natalie Wassa, for the record. I continue to oppose this. I don't know how many of you folks know that anybody who's in retirement age, which would be typically anybody who's over 65, and this bill would apply to, they don't pay income taxes on their Social Security income. They don't pay at the state level, and they don't pay income taxes on their pensions. So this body of people is already getting a nice tax break in that manner. And then, you know, again, you're creating this disparity between the homeowners who live in their homes and those who are renting them out to people like me and my family. So I oppose this. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other testifiers, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Pardon?
We have none.
Okay, thank you. Members are in discussion. Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Talbot.
What are your reservations? Like I mentioned in the Budget Committee, I support providing tax relief to residents, but I echo the concerns of BFS that this will result in a revenue loss of $5.6 million to the city. Additionally, we did not take the recommendation from BFS to do the PIG to discuss the impacts of the bill and the next bill. For Kupuna, they will see $70 to the annual savings, but again, I hope we have identified where we plan to fill the gap for the $5.6 million in revenue loss to the city.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero? Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aino?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba? Councilmember Tupola? Councilmember Wire?
Reservations.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 263 has been adopted and Bill 49 has passed third reading. Moving to the top of page 16, Councilmember Okimoto.
Chair, I move that Committee Report 264 be adopted and Bill 50 pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Okimoto for the explanation.
Relating to real property taxation.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do I have any testifiers?
Yes, we have Ms. Iwasa in the chamber.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you, Natalie Wassa, for the record. I also oppose this bill. I know I sound like a broken record, but you know, you keep putting these policies in that create a divide between those who have and those who have not. And as pointed out by Councilmember Tolba, this does cost money, and it's borne in a large part on the residential A taxpayers. I don't know what else to tell you other than, you know, you have other mechanisms to help reduce taxes in this county, and that would be reducing or removing actually a lot of the exemptions that cost us millions and millions of dollars every single year. So I just oppose this. I can't think of anything else right now to say to change your minds. I know you're set to vote, but please think about those exemptions and what you can do to remove them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Councilmember Tolba.
Again, reservations, you know, I want us to find creative ways to help local residents, but not at the expense of city services. The $5 million revenue loss is concerning, added to the 5.6 from Bill 49. And again, I was hoping that we could have the PIG to have a good discussion about the impacts of the bill and how we can plan to make up the revenue loss to the city. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, followed by Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. You know, I'll be voting yes on this, but I do want to echo the comments of Councilmember Talba. And I also want to say, you know, I do understand the importance of providing some relief to families. This comes out to $70 a year. It's $5.83 a month. I think we need to get real about what an overall reform to our property tax system would look like beyond $5.83 a month. As I mentioned earlier on the bus fare bill, while we're doing this and providing people $5.83 a month if they own a property on this island, and there's a lot of people who own multiple properties on this island, we're about to saddle our most vulnerable populations with $10 a month per rider, per person, just to get to their jobs. And I think that that's, again, not fair. And I think we really need to look at the lens of how we approach giving people relief, because that conversation is just as important as doing it in the first place.
Thank you. Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. I'll also be voting with reservations, not because I disagree with trying to provide relief, because I do think everyone is approaching it with the best intentions and, of course, support providing any relief that's possible. We did have CDs on this measure and the prior measure, similar to the discussion we had at the last permitted interaction group, where larger deduction would have been revenue neutral in terms of impact on the city if we adjusted the rates. And I think the reason we introduced those larger exemptions was because I think it's reflective of how much property values have increased, particularly during COVID, right? We saw that dramatic increase over the 1 year. And then, as I've shared before, I think that's why, in large part, I've focused more of our effort on trying to push up that low-income tax credit, which is, of course, capping folks' property tax at a particular percentage, right? And so it gets us a little bit closer to truth in taxation without being it across the board, focusing on folks that really may have financial limitations or be in need, particularly those that are in maybe high-value homes because they're generational homes and maybe have lower incomes. And so just wanted to share that, but do appreciate the robust conversation and the focus of everyone on trying to provide relief for our families. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto. Councilmember Okimoto.
Aye.
Councilmember Talba.
Reservation.
Councilmember Tupola.
Aye.
Councilmember Wire.
Reservations.
Chair Waters.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 8 ayes, 1 member is absent.
Thank you. CR 264 has been adopted and Bill 50 has passed third reading. Moving to the bottom of page 16 from the Committee on Zoning and Planning, Councilmember Kia Aina.
I move that Committee Report 294 be adopted and Bill 33, CD2 as amended, pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Kia Aina for the explanation.
This bill relates to administrative enforcement as it amends the administrative enforcement provisions for violation of the standards and requirements of the land use ordinance.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto. Councilmember Okimoto.
Aye.
Councilmember Talba.
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola.
Aye.
Councilmember Wire.
Aye.
Chair Waters.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 294 has been adopted and Bill 33, CD2 has passed third reading. Members, we're on page 17. Perhaps this is a good time for a break?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a 45-minute break. So we come back at, 40-minute break. So we'll come back at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock? Okay, we're in recess.